You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Oh, it's good to be back.
I don't like distractions on the sideline. I think that's ignorant, and I think it's just dumb. It's just stupid, and it's very immature. And I don't see how that's I just don't see how you can do something like that to your team.
Let's start off Friday the 13th. Devondre Campbell, you are dumb and stupid. That was from your teammate George Kittle. I don't want to play anymore. I lost my starting job to Drake Reed's law. I don't want to play. Drama in San Francisco last night amidst what looked like a Friday the 13th type of game. Oh, wow. Rain, fog, drama, got it all. 4-2, Rams win last night over the 49ers. 4-2. Field goals, that is. A slugfest, if you will. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network and the video platform. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out on Twitter, X at PShep326, and on Facebook at SR1029 The Game, SR1029TheGame.com, Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Kick, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, and call or text the show as always, 727-858-6650. Great show lined up for you today. Angel, do me a favor. Fill in for me for 10 seconds. You know why? It's a cool day here. As you know, we open all the doors and everything else. But I just realized my front door is like right over there around the corner, kind of close. I am at the screen is up and everything else. I'm just going to go shut the door because I might be waking up my neighbors.
All right.
Hang on 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. I'm an idiot. I should have done this 2 seconds ago. Hang on.
No problem.
This is a live show.
Exactly. Hey, welcome everybody. It is Friday by that we of course all know of. 7:02 here on the East Coast, 4:02 on the West Coast if you're just waking up, and we hear there's obviously stories of things being seen and flown over the New York and New Jersey skyways. Who knows? Whatever's going to come of that, but it is Football Friday. Later on, we'll have Gabe Morency on at 9:30 and then Sean McAdam at 9:05 a.m. And here's Pete.
Here's Pete. Hey, it was a slugfest last night. We got a lot to get to today in the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. It's always a football freaky Friday. It is Friday the 13th, so welcome everybody. And slugfest last night. We'll get into that drama. Coming up today, I'll have my Pigskin Picks at 8:05. We may or may not have Patrick Gilroy at 8:30 talking NBA. I tried to get a hold of him yesterday because he had a personal situation come up that he had to handle. And he said, I thought he said he'd be available today, but I texted him 3 times. So he may or not be available at 8:30. If he is, if he's listening, he can call in or video in. At 9:05, definitely live from Dallas, will be at the winter meetings at MLB, will be Sean McAdam as well, one of the great baseball insiders. We'll get the scoop not only on the Red Sox, but everything else that happened down there. And 9:30, of course, Gabe Morency. Only Army-Navy this week. I'm not getting into the FCS football playoffs, but Gabe Morency will join me at 9:30. Sports Rage from Sports Grid will have his picks as well. Always fun. So we'll always have his NFL picks. I will preview a whole bunch of games coming up over the weekend. Particularly to me, I am completely fascinated by the Eagles and the Steelers. I think that is going to be the game of the week. There's so many unbelievable trends in that game. Philadelphia has not lost at home to Pittsburgh since 1960 or 50. I can't remember. But it's 10 straight games that Philadelphia has won at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's some ridiculous number. Then you have the other trend, which is Russell Wilson, we talked about yesterday, he's 6-0 lifetime, obviously not with the Steelers, but 6-0 lifetime against Philadelphia in his career, whether it be with Seattle or Denver. Whatever it is, he personally has been at the winning side all 6 times against the Eagles. So something's got to give, and I'll have my picks coming up at 8 o'clock, 8:05 this morning. Anyway, lots to get on to today. The Rams win 12-6 in the slugfest. Bill Belichick press conference is going to have most of it for you from yesterday. Some really, really interesting stuff from Bill. Just seems it's surreal watching him up there as the new head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. We'll have all the video and the audio from that. Some NBA and NHL rundowns. Kucherov last night for Tampa Bay. 5 points. They won 8-3. My Bruins sucked donkey you know what. I mean, just absolutely, for the second time in 3 days, humiliated again. We have gone backwards here. Joe Sacco had started off 7-3, and now it has been a disaster. They have been outscored. They lose last night to the Kraken 5-1. They lost to Winnipeg the other night 8-1. They've been outscored 13-2 in 2 games. That is absolutely ridiculous. Brad Marchand talking about how bad the practices have been and the morning skates. They weren't crisp and everything. It's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. We've got some college football awards that were handed out last night. Cam Ward for the Miami Hurricanes was one of the recipients. He should have been, he wasn't even mentioned in a couple of others that he should have been in, but we'll get to that. And a whole lot more. I've also got, if we have time, a great interview that Julian Edelman did on his podcast with Jim Craig, the former great Olympian goalie for Team USA, Miracle on Ice, all that stuff. Some really, really cool insight into not only the movie Miracle, what was fact, what was fiction. Most of it was fact, by the way. It was very little that was exaggerated. But he gets into it and, talks about, coaching in all sports and everything else and what Herb Brooks meant to him and all that stuff. Some really, really interesting stuff that I hope we get to. Meanwhile, we say officially good morning to Angel Martinez. Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. And for those who are watching first time, welcome here to Sports Radio 102.9 and the Coastal Sports Network. And if your eyes are not deceiving you, there's a new layout here in the studio.
You're reading my mind, my friend. It looks marvelous, fantastic. Eye-popping, much clearer. I noticed it this morning as I was putting my quote-unquote banner in. If you don't know what a banner is, that's what that thing is scrolling down on the bottom that I update before the show. And Angel does the rest. I just put the words in. He does all the graphics and all that stuff. But amazing stuff, Angel. Great. Now, is that our friends at Evie Mux, or is that you that did that with a new sort of editing? I don't know. Whatever you do.
No, that is all me. That is all me. The only thing they're responsible. Yeah, the only thing they're responsible for is just the as far as for us to come live. Other than that, everything else is all me. So yeah, new layout, new change. The number's always up there to text or call us to make it a little bit easier for everyone. And yep, it's a brand new absolute layout.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So much there's a lot to talk about in the NFL. Last night, the game, I'm not going to give you field goal highlights. The big story was Devontae Campbell refusing to enter the game in the third quarter. And here's Brock Purdy talking about that. And this was an ugly game. I don't mind games like this. It's the beauty of the NFL. Look at what the Rams did last week. The Rams and Bills had the highest scoring game of the year, 44-42 last week. And then you get a slugfest last night. And I know the weather was shitty. It was cloudy. It was rain through most of the first half. It was foggy. It wasn't pleasant out there. Nevertheless, the Rams' first 4 drives, they didn't get a first down. First time that's happened in forever. It was a hideous, ugly game if you like offense. But you know what? Sometimes you need games like this. And the beauty of the NFL is you can get a team like the Rams. And I look, the game went way under the total. If I had a choice, I picked the Rams to win. But I would have gone over the total, and I would have lost that. I didn't touch it, but I did touch the Rams at +3. But, the beauty of the NFL is you get games like this, and last week you get the 44-42, and then you get the slugfest that was this. So if you love good, hard-hitting, and tackling, this was a game for you. And 99% of the hits were legal. It was just good, hard tackling. It was hard to get first downs for both teams. It was hard. There were some drops as well. In this one, like this one, Deebo Samuel.
Now Patrick Taylor comes into the game in the backfield. Flare him out, and the pass caught and then dropped over the middle. Deebo Samuel would have had the first down and maybe a touchdown had he caught it. And now the crowd, of course, is responding to the fact, give me the ball, and look what happened.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's man coverage, well designed, exactly what he wants. He just starts to look ahead of where he wants to run with the football before he secures it. I mean, it's man-to-man. There's a safety in the middle, but Brock Purdy put it in front of him where he could run after the catch, which the Niners are legendary for, and he just drops the football.
Well, again, and thanks to Amazon last night with a call with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. Here's Deebo, and because he was bitching and moaning all week about how he wasn't getting the ball enough, and maybe now you know why. Anyway, he was quite frustrated after the game.
Out there,
very, very frustrating. Like, end of the day, like, catch that ball. It's nothing there but the end zone. At the end of the day, just got to catch that route.
I mean, you've been able to do that in the past.
Just like seeing a moment, came across the middle and see nothing but the end zone at the end of the day. Like, got to put the ball in and go score.
How much did weather impact you guys in that first half?
We got here, we was kind of expecting the rain. That's why a lot of guys wore studs, but didn't really impact it too much. We like to run the ball, so this is what we do. But it kind of limited, what we can do in the passing game a little bit.
Were the Rams doing anything in particular that was stopping the runs at all? Or
No, I don't think so.
Nah, it's just one of those games. One of those games. Deebo Samuel. That was probably one of the best highlights of the night. That could have been. That wasn't. But the fact that it was him, and he had complained all week that he needed to get the ball more and everything else. But the bigger story, as I said, in the third quarter, Devondre Campbell didn't want to come in, and then walked to the locker room right after the third quarter and quit on his team. Drake Greenlaw, who came back in, the other linebacker who'd been hurt all week and by all accounts was unbelievable at practice, working his ass off and everything else. I think he had 7 or 8 tackles last night as well. But after the game, Brock Purdy talked about Campbell refusing to play.
Did you know that Devondre said during the game he didn't want to play? Kyle told us that. And how disappointing is that? If you didn't know or if you do know that happened?
Yeah, I had no idea. Obviously, I'm trying to focus on the offense and where we're at. I didn't know until after the game, to be honest, that Devondre, was not playing. And, I don't really know what to say to that. So.
All right. Meanwhile, here's Kyle Shanahan on Mr. Campbell.
What happened with Devondre Campbell? He didn't play and he went into the locker room at some point?
Yeah, he said he didn't want to play today.
Play today?
Yep.
The coaching staff?
He did when I asked him why he didn't want to go in. So.
During the game or before?
No, that was in the third quarter.
Has that ever happened to you where a player said they didn't want to play in a game?
No.
He got demoted for this game, right? I mean, he was not going to play.
No, he was gonna go in when Drake came out.
Will you release Devondre Campbell?
I don't. We'll figure out something.
Yeah.
I don't know that right now.
Did he give you any reason why you didn't want to play today?
No.
Campbell, to hear a player say, I don't want to play today, does that create dissension, especially knowing that at this point in the season, with the type of season that this has started out to be, you kind of need as much camaraderie as possible to be successful? Does that create dissension amongst the team, or did it not really affect anyone? Did no one really notice?
People notice, but when someone says that you move on. You don't deal with that anymore.
And I'll play it again in case you missed it in the open. Somebody was really upset, sounded off George Kittle.
I don't like distractions on the sideline. I think that's ignorant, and I think it's just dumb. It's just stupid, and it's very immature. And I just don't see how that's I just don't see how you can do something like that to your team.
Yeah, agreed. Dumb and stupid. And I think Devondre Campbell will be cut by, 10 o'clock this morning. By the time we get off the air, he will be bye-bye. That is just absolutely 100% unacceptable. First half last night was hideous. Teams combined for 11 punts, 9 first downs, 197 yards. 4 days after they both had season high in points. Rain finally stopped at halftime. And again, Dre Greenlaw returned first time since tearing his left Achilles tendon in the Super Bowl last year. He had 8 tackles in the first half, but played sparingly the second half. And then Devondre Campbell lost his starting role when Greenlaw returned, as we know and just talked about, refused to enter the game. But the guy that was there was unbelievable last night. Defensive stud. Greenlaw was everywhere last night. 8 tackles in that game. So you can't have it. Last time I believe that happened was Vontae Davis. He quit back in 2018. It's the last time that I can remember something like that happening. Meanwhile, quickly on the winning side, Sean McVay's speech after the 49ers win in the locker room.
Hey, I'll tell you what. You look at what this team's about. How about the
Rams win it.
Stop after stop, unbelievable. Got a couple guys I want to be able to recognize right here. 4 field goals. We need every one of them.
Joshua Carney. Moody had 2 for San Fran. Moody.
This guy had 2 sacks. Was active all day. Where's Kobe Turner?
And Pete gets a game ball for staying up for the entire game last night with Luna and just waiting for something to happen. We almost had a touchdown, but then this happened.
5.5 left in the fourth. Taylor is the running back. Purdy going for it all, and it's going to be picked off in the end zone. Darius Williams on an overthrow.
Oh, it was terrible. That was a horrible pass. That's the only time, really, these guys came close to a touchdown. Actually, there was some really good defensive stops in this game. It was a slugfest, so hats off to the defense. It's just amazing that both teams, had their season high in point totals last week, and then you get this type of a game. Old school stuff. This is like 1976 type of game. But the Rams win, hang on to win 4-2. 4 field goals to 2. Cardi with 4 field goals, Moody with 2. 12-6 is your final right there. And the Rams are heating up again, very much so like they did last season at this time. The San Francisco 49ers are basically done. They need a miracle. They got to win out, finish 9-8, and it'd be a miracle.
Yep. At this point, it was we stayed up too, and I think we're both of us were like, really, this is what we stayed up for? And dribbling nonsense. What was the
I don't mind games like that. Look, I don't mind it. I mean, it'd be boring if every game was 40-35.
True.
I like old school game, and it wasn't sloppy per se. There weren't a whole lot of penalties. Just weren't a lot of first downs. The first half was awful. I mean, I've seen other teams play better in weather like that, but it was just one of those games. It was foggy. It was rainy. To sit in the stand, that's the worst type of game to sit in the stand for. You'd rather sit in the stands if it's snowing.
Yep.
Maybe not wet snow, but snowing. You sit in a game like that where it's raw and cold and icky. It's terrible. It's awful, and I don't know. I've done it before in my life, and I don't like it. And I've sat in snow before. It's much better. It's much easier to deal with the snow than it is the cold, foggy, wet, raw rain. Ugh.
I just like how it looked like there was an invisible fence at the goal line. Like, nope, we're getting down to the 10, and that's it. As far as we're going.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think one of the fascinating games coming up this weekend, obviously, is your Philadelphia Eagles and hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we've talked about this through the week, the dissension, Jalen Hurts and his relationship with A.J. Brown. In fact, let's hear about this. Is yesterday. This is Jalen Hurts on his relationship with A.J. Brown.
Jalen, there's been a lot of talk this week about your relationship with AJ, obviously off of what Brandon Graham said. Just wonder if you want to offer any clarity on the situation.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Did you two talk after Brandon's comment?
We've spoken. I think in the end, Brandon, BG, we calling him Brandon, BG knows he spoke out of place, and he knows that. So.
What was your reaction when, I'm sure your phone started blowing up when that was going around? What was your reaction to it?
It's just about the team in the end. I think overall, that's where my focus is. I think that's where everyone's focus is at heart, and trying to do what's best for the team. And ultimately, everyone cares about the team's success. And so, whenever something happens, whatever it is, I look at myself first, because everything starts and ends with me. And I take great pride in what I do. I take great pride in the responsibilities that I have when I am to the city and to this team. And I challenge myself on that. I'm my best when I'm my biggest critic, and I have to continue to challenge myself on being critical on some things so I can be better.
Like Angel will believe in me more so I can play better.
In the end, everyone expresses themselves differently, and I respect that, and I accept how anyone shows up. But ultimately, I look at myself first, and I say, how can I be better? What do I need to do to be better? And ultimately play at the highest level I can play. And that's what it takes to play complimentary football at its fullest. And so that's what the goal is. Everybody's coming in here. I just told the team, everybody dominate their box. Everyone, including myself. And that's what it's about. So I don't want to get lost in the sauce of everything else when the main thing is to come out here, go through prep, do what we need to do, and go out there and play.
Okay, what he's really saying there, if you read between the lines, he's speaking directly to Angel. Believe in me, and I will believe in you. That's what I get out of that. I really did. Here's Nick Sirianni on the situation. Again, started by Brandon Graham early on in the week on Monday. He opened, he said the truth, which was there's some dissension in the air between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. There's no question about it. He was wide open at times last week in that game against Carolina and didn't even look his way. It was crazy. And that started a chain reaction here. But here's Nick Sirianni on the situation.
Considering everything that's happened the past few days, like Brandon's comments, you talked to Jalen and AJ yesterday, and I know you're not going to go into the details, but if you did, can you give like a general sense of how it went?
I talk to these guys all the time about anything and everthing, right? From the game to life to everything. So that's, like I said, that's just part of our process.
He's a life coach, Angel.
To go through.
Good for him.
Every single, you work on that every single day. And so, of course, I've talked to these guys. As far as, everything there, again, I see guys that are continuously trying to get better and better and better and working. I see and to
like Angel's
let's
attitude,
just talk about
better,
Jalen and
better,
AJ. I see them working to get better. I see them working to get better together, whether that's after an install meeting where they gather right here and talk about, how AJ will run a route or how Jalen will read, all those different things. They spend so much time on that. And I said this the other day, I think I probably said it on the radio, is like, you guys get to see 3 hours every Sunday in the most, where emotions can play as high as they're going to play in any particular. You get to see 3 hours of that. I get to see this every single day.
We're getting close to
these
this.
guys every single day and how they go about their business.
Not
and how
quite
they
there
interact
yet.
with each other. I get to see them after practice working on routes together and talking how they're going to go. And so, again, I know there was assumptions of things, and which is we get how that goes, but I can only go on my personal experience of how these guys interact every single day, and these guys are so locked in and focused to getting better and getting better together, so they're on the same page to go and accomplish the things we want to accomplish. And I witness that every single day, whether, again, like I said, of all these places they're talking. I know there's going to be a lot more questions on this. I can see guys kind of getting in their seats ready to ask me another question.
Yeah.
But that's what I witness on every day. And all I can go off of, very similar to when y'all asked me about my relationship with Jalen, like at the beginning of the year. All I can go off of what I see in my personal interactions. But I understand that there are definitely questions that you guys are going to have based off the last couple of days.
Yeah, there's more.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, there's not. That was 2 minutes and 56 seconds. The reason why I played the whole thing is he could have summed it up very succinctly with one sentence or maybe two. Yes, I talked to the guys, and now we're on to Pittsburgh. He doesn't have to reveal any type of info. He doesn't have to go through that ridiculous, pedantic, blathering explanation about how he's always talking to people. We know coaches always talk to people. More on this in a second. More my thoughts on this in a second. Here's A.J. Brown on his relationship with Jalen Hurts and Brandon Graham.
Big day, huh?
AJ, obviously there's been a lot of talk, especially from Brandon Graham, about your relationship with Jalen.
Yeah.
Do you just want to offer any clarity on what's going on?
Yeah, BG was just being BG. He's emotional.
BG.
In that case, he just misspoke. You know, me and Jalen are good. So he's BG, guys. So
BG.
Everybody loves BG. You know, he's speaking from the heart. You know, he's just.
I like the BGs.
Giving his perception on something from the outside. So.
He's around you guys all the time, though. Yeah. Could you see where there might be a misperception based on?
I think that's what everybody. I think that's what the world did. You know, they perceived what I said about passing.
The world
felt like it was an attack on Jalen, and I think that's what he did. You know, me and Jalen relationship is personal. So I mean, yeah, I can see that.
How would you characterize your relationship with Jalen right now?
Me and his relationship are good. So.
Does any of this impact football, AJ?
Sorry,
does any of this impact football?
Not at all, man. We're trying to go out here and do our job each and every Sunday, personal or business. Like I said, BG is just speaking, and he just kept speaking, and it's whatever.
You know what? Listen.
Hang on, let me put this. Now, this is A.J. Brown on the comments on the passing game. Then we'll get into
whatever.
When you mentioned passing, a lot of people obviously took that as a criticism on Jalen. What did you mean by passing?
You know, when he asked the question, what the offense can do better, obviously it's not running the ball. He's about to win MVP. Like, literally. So what other thing we do on offense? We have to pass the ball. And that can go into protection. That go picking up a block. That go to us getting open quicker, being on the same page, Jalen reads, or whatever the case may be. It's a group, a collect group of things. And, you know, I think they just kind of just spent it that way, and you know, and I said that for a reason, you know, honestly, because like we went to the Super Bowl and lost. We tried again next year. It was 10 and whatever our record is, and it was a landslide. And here we go again, and it's something that we can correct right now while we have the opportunity. Bringing the awareness of bringing it to everybody's attention. Like, it's something we can focus on. Like, we know we can run the ball. Saquon is doing a great job. Like, we're not against running the ball. We love Saquon. Ask him what I tell him at the end of the game. End the game. Like, do your job. End the game. Like, so this is fine. Like I'm okay with being whatever bad guy I have to be for the city, the town, whatever the case may be, for my team to holding everybody accountable, and to get better. So if I'm that guy, I would be that guy gladly. So.
Is it frustrating sometimes when it feels like there's outside narratives that are kind of infiltrating?
No, honestly, because, you know, we don't care. You know, we're not in it for feelings. We're not in trying to hold everybody's hands. We're going out here trying to do a job, and we're holding everybody accountable. And so when I say passing, that's speaking on the entire offense, including myself. So we're not in it for feelings. We're trying to hold the Lombardi up and end a trophy. That's the end goal. So who cares if they want to spin it and perceive me to be a bad guy? I'm throwing somebody on the bus. Who cares? Like, it's about what we're trying to do at the end. So.
I have a big fucking problem. Yes, I do! Damn! Fuck me. This is wrong! Oh my God. This is wrong! It's just wrong!
Get three more going. Get three more going.
Three more working.
Put it in the oven.
It's fucked! We're going down in flames. Titanic ain't got shit on us. I'm done. You. Get out! Get the fuck out of here!
Did I not say they were done? I will let you fucking know when you fucking keep leaving it in. Just leave it alone. I had it fucking perfect.
Hey! Where are you guys?
Right here, Chef.
I've spent 18 hours with you guys today. I give you everything I got, and that's the bullshit you're gonna give me in front of Chef Ramsay? Make me look like a dickhead in front of a dining room full of people. I'm beside myself right now with that. I can't look at you guys anymore.
You know what's so bad? That would be just in the Eagles locker room. And with him saying, meaning AJ, about that, here we go again. It better not be here we go again. It better not be.
I'm telling you, Angel, though, but here's how I really feel. I think this situation is going to galvanize them. I think the Steelers are in for a hell of a day. I think your team's going to win by 7 to 10 points. They're going to get it done. They're going to get it together. The only concerns I have are they going to try to force the ball early on to A.J. Brown too much, and the Steelers are going to be aware of that, I'm sure. And Sirianni's going to have to counter that. It's going to be a big chess match with him and Kellen Moore, the OC, to get. I just have a feeling you guys are going to be okay. I don't think this is going to unravel. I really don't. I could be dead wrong. I just get the feeling your Eagles are going to come up with one of their better games of the year, and especially against an interstate rival, a team that they haven't lost to at home in 50 years or whatever the hell it is. It's crazy, even though Russell Wilson has a great record against Philadelphia, but that's not the Steelers. And I do find that trends like this usually hold up. It's crazy, but true. I mean, it's not like they play every year, but when you haven't won in a certain city in 50 years or 40-something years, whatever it is, it's hard to overlook that. And I just think this situation, and unlike last year where you could have, you would have expected something like this to happen and the whole thing cracks and crumbles like it did last year, I think the character on this team is going to prevail, because this is a very good football team, and they are going to have a great shot to be the number one seed if they win this game and Detroit loses, which they very well could at home this week to Buffalo. But I think your Eagles are going to be they're going to play one hell of a game. I'm very interested to see, though, how initially what Jalen Hurts does with A.J. Brown. Now, I mean, the Steelers were an excellent defensive team. Look, they could start the game with 4 straight ones with Saquon Barkley to get the ball first, and he could go for godly knows how many yards if the Steelers' defense isn't up to snuff here. But I think your Eagles are going to get it together. I think this is going to galvanize. It's going to be the reverse, the antithesis of last year, the 180 of the Eagles of 2023. And the Eagles of 2024, Angel, are going to prevail and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's my summation right there. Now, you ready to run through a wall for me or what?
Yeah, sure am. I will say this much. If they tank this one, I will get on social media and act a fool just to let everybody know I told you so. But now I don't think so.
They're not going to tank. They're not going to tank. Not on purpose anyway. Not on purpose. I think it's going to galvanize. Now, you might be right. You might look. There's no. I don't have a crystal ball here. I do not have the crystal ball. But my guts and my head tell me that your Eagles are going to get it together this week and win by. The line was 7. It's down to 5 now. But your Eagles -5. I can tell you that. I'll be picking them when picks come up at 8:05. Should be a hell of a game. But I think the Eagles are going to use this, along with the life coach, Nick Sirianni, his strong words that took him 3 minutes to say, yes, I talked to everybody, and it's okay. That's all he had to say. Took him 3 minutes to say it. See what kind of mood I'm in today? Maybe it's because Luna wakes me. My peanut gallery's in Boston with her sisters and friends till Monday. So I'm bachelor boy. So I was up late last night. I'd be up late anyway. But a certain side, when we get up in the morning, it's usually Luna that wakes us up with kisses to the face. We're right. And it's usually around 4:45. 5 o'clock around. I get up at 4:45. Sometimes I get out of bed. I'm up a little earlier than Peanut Gallery, but she, it's just me, and she's got about 5,000 pillows on the bed. Cleopatra over there, Luna, and so this morning I'm just, it was 3:30. I woke up. She had jumped off the bed. And I'm like, oh God, please don't. You don't want to go out right now, right? You don't want to do that, right? Not right now. But I didn't want to take any chances. She's on a schedule. Like she goes out. Peanut Gallery takes her out first thing in the morning. Then I handle the rest of the walks. Middays. Right after the show, I take her out. Then there's one at about 3 o'clock. Then she eats at 5, and then there's another walk about 7 o'clock, and then a final one around 9. And that's usually it. But when she got up at 3:30, this one's like, is she off her game, whatever. So I get up at 3:30. I take her out. Then that was about 15 minutes, come back and lie down for a little bit. Then I was awoken at 4:47 to, like Dino licking Fred Flintstone. Thought I was having a dream. But and her cute little face was right next to mine in the morning. I was like, oh, Luna. Anyway, so got up. Where am I going with this?
No, it was the Eagles talk.
Oh, yeah, it was Eagles talk, and now it went into Luna talk. Anyway. Anyway, she's doing great. So so I took so that's I'm a little loopy this morning because my sleep pattern is a little off. So forgive me. All right, when we come back, all the Bill Belichick highlights that you can muster. Just interesting stuff from the press conferences yesterday. We'll still have reaction from a lot of people, both regionally, nationally as well, about Bill Belichick being introduced as the new head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. All that video, some more NFL stuff coming up. 8:05 will be my Pigskin Picks. We may or may not have Patrick Gilroy at 8:30. I don't know. It's possible. Sean McAdam, definitely from Dallas at the MLB Winter Meetings at 9:05, and then Gabe Morency at 9:30. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on Friday the 13th, Football Freaky Friday here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home. Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill? Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
I think we go back to last offseason in the National Football League. And we go back to Bill Belichick interviewing and being a finalist for the Atlanta Falcons head coaching job, and the Falcons deciding to go with Raheem Morris. The Washington Commanders had a phone call with Bill Belichick and ultimately decided to go with Dan Quinn.
Adam Sheppard yesterday on Get Up talking about the Bill Belichick situation, why indeed. There's all sorts of theories about why he took the North Carolina job, just got sick of all the minutia and bad blood in the NFL. For those of you out there, there's still people out there. Again, I had to listen to Feinbaum yesterday. Everybody else was making some really cogent points about it's a good thing for the ACC and Feinbaum is still, and there's some others that are still under this impression that if Bill Belichick doesn't go, breaking bread around the country with all these kids' houses, that's going to make a difference. And I'm telling you, I don't think it is. I don't. I think he'll do some of that, but he's also going to have to do things like go to cocktail parties and governor events. And there's a lot of stuff in the college world that goes on when you're a big-time coach. And there's going to be a lot asked of him, whether he does it or not, we'll see. But it's just amazing some of the people out there that doubt his professionalism. I mean, I think he's going to be true to his word as far as making it, a portal to the NFL. I think it will be. It'll be a very professional type environment, and we'll see. I think it's going to be good for the league. I think it's going to be must watch. And I know Stephen A. and Molly Molly made a great point yesterday on First Take about initially. Anyway, it's going to be must watch football. Initially for North Carolina. It really is. Very much like, she compared it to Deion Sanders, which, it's not, I think it's a pretty fair comparison. All right, Deion may be more flamboyant, but, you get the same type of person out there that draws attention. People are going to want to watch initially, want to watch North Carolina football. They just are. They're going to want to see it, and it's going to be really, really, and people are already talking about Arch Manning. I brought it up yesterday. I told you I was going to fabricate the rumor. I'm not the first one. I mean, I was the first. I think I was the first one to start fabricating it But there's some dissension in the air, and maybe Quinn Ewers is the one that leaves, because there's some dissension going on in Texas. But we'll see. All right, I want to get to this Bill Belichick stuff because we got a lot of guests coming up today as well. I don't know. Again, I don't know if Patrick's going to join us at 8:30. Sean McAdam definitely at 9:05. 9:30, Gabe Morency. I have my pigskin picks at 8 o'clock. All right. If we could scroll down, and it's going to be a ways here because I want to do this sort of in order here. Let's go. It's under Fox College Football, the first one, Angel. And it talks about Billy's first words were beat Duke. If we could play this video.
Oh.
It's right above Brett McMurphy about UNLV hiring. Dan Mullen, by the way, I'm sure he would have liked the North Carolina job. He goes to UNLV, former Florida and Mississippi State coach. Okay, here's Bill Belichick yesterday. We're going to play as much of it as we can, his press conference yesterday, in case you missed it.
As a kid, all I knew was college football, and so it's great to come back home to Carolina and back in an environment that I really grew up in. When you're little, you don't remember everything. Obviously, I was too young to remember a lot of things from Carolina. But as I grew up, you hear the same story over and over and over and over again. And so one story I always heard was Billy's first words were, beat Duke.
And then coochie.
So full circle. As a kid, all I knew was college football, and so it's great to come back home to Carolina and back in an environment that I really grew up in. When you're little.
All right, yeah. So okay, they just repeated. So that Bill Belichick. Remember, his dad, Steve, coached at North Carolina, was assistant there from I believe 53 to 55. So that was before he went to become a legend at the Naval Academy. Angel, I'll just play. You get the mix of what Bill looks like up there. I'll just play the audio from here because I think I can make it a little louder. Okay. So I'm just going to go in no particular order here. Here's Bill Belichick talking about developing younger players.
You mentioned was you're looking forward to teaching and developing, a lot of the, the younger players.
If you want to stick the video up there in a still shot, Angel,
in the professional realm,
that'd be great.
Players, a little older, got families, things like that. What do you kind of envision and what excites you about the differences of working with, kind of those younger 19, 20-year-olds as compared to, working with some of the, older guys like you did in the NFL?
Right. Well, again, in the NFL, it's a combination of a lot of things. But if you look at the players we had in the NFL, Tom Brady was a fourth-string quarterback his rookie year. He didn't exactly come in as, with any play time at all. Gronkowski, he, didn't do too much his rookie year. Julian Edelman played quarterback in college. Then he was a wide receiver. Then he was a punt returner. So developing players is, something that Michael and I believe strongly in, and we'll support that with the staff and we'll support that with the program. There's a lot of opportunity and room for growth for all players, whether 19, 20, or honestly 22, 23. Now.
All right, there's Bill Belichick, and partly there. And it's funny you mentioned Gronk his rookie year, and I believe they went to the Super Bowl that year and won it, or at least got there. But I remember watching that game or being, again, it was against Arizona his rookie year, Gronk, and he messed up twice on special teams so badly. It was awful. I remember Bill just reaming him on the sidelines. He touched the ball he shouldn't have. Not quite as bad as Leon Lett or what we saw the other night in the Cincinnati game last week, but something close to that. A couple of really bad faux pas by Gronk his rookie year, and then he obviously became a great player. Keep Bill up there. Okay, now we said yesterday we talked about some of the reports out there, and I said there was a report that Bill had a 400-page document or dossier that he sent with him to North Carolina, and that was all parts of the conditions of how he was going to be hired. Well, Bill Belichick kind of poo-pooed that yesterday.
Just curious, there were reports that you had prepared a document or organizational Bible. Were those accurate? I reserve a follow-up if the answer is...
Yeah, don't believe everything you read in the papers, all right? I have no idea where that came from.
I don't have a 400-page document. I mean, and to think I would just go out and hand it, I mean, come on, really.
In terms of your
All right, there it is. We got more here. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay, here's some more from Bill. Talked about had some good years in the NFL.
I've always wanted to coach in football, coaching college football, and it just never really worked out. Had some good years in the NFL, so that was okay. But this is really kind of a dream come true. I grew up in college football with my dad. As the coach at Navy for 50 years, so as a kid, all I knew was college football, and so it's great to come back home to Carolina, and back in an environment that I really grew up in.
All right. Again, Bill Belichick yesterday. And then interesting, Scott Pioli. So that's basically the gist of it. From Bill Belichick's opening press conference yesterday at Chapel Bill, or now Chapel Hill. So under his contract, by the way, 5 years, $50 million, $30 million, 3 years guaranteed, $3.5 million of annual bonuses are tied to a final ranking wins, ACC championship, and college football playoff games. He gets $10 million to allocate to assistant coaches, and UNC has agreed to increase nil spending from $4 million to $20 million. As I said yesterday, $4 to $20 million. Trust me, he's going to be in pretty good shape. Angel, if we could scroll down to Scott Pioli, who was a big part of the Patriots organization when Bill was there, and this is from with Bucky Brooks and company on a podcast. Here's Scott Pioli and Bucky Brooks, and who else is there? This is on the NFL Network yesterday about Bill Belichick taking the job at North Carolina. That's it.
Scott, I want to start with you. Diami Brown doesn't think it's going to work. A lot of folks over the last couple of days on the NFL level were saying, this is crazy. He's not actually, and I kept saying, he's serious about this. That's what I'm hearing. Your thoughts on this whole decision by Belichick?
You know, Jeezy, I'm not surprised because, again, here's what Bill is. Bill is a football coach. He's a teacher. He loves competition, and he loves to develop. So to me, this situation and the way things seem to be shaking out, I'm not surprised at all. You know, you go back to how Bill was raised. Here's a guy whose father was a coach and a teacher. His mother was a teacher. Bill has this in his blood. He loves teaching football and developing players as much as any part of the game. Does he like the competition? Absolutely he does. But again, as I started hearing this, at first I was a little surprised. And again, I have no insider information. I just saw this as something that could actually become a possibility because, again, when he started, some of the arguments I heard, well, Bill he'll never be able to recruit. He's not going to be able to do that. He won't be able to handle the rigors of recruiting. But here's what I thought about in terms of recruiting. Bill Belichick is not going to have to recruit like other FBS head coaches. And that's not being disrespectful to any of those coaches. There is just a standard of what Bill is known to be and who he is. If you're a young player and you figure you're going to go to college for 3 years, maybe 4, to become a professional football player, you're going to make an investment. There's this whole group of young players that are going to be coming into college who have parents who know what Bill Belichick is. So if they're advising, whether it's parents or advisors or, guardians, they're going to be saying, hey, you do a couple of years here, you're going to learn football, you're going to learn situational football, you're going to learn fundamentals and technique. And if you talk to pro coaches across the league, one of the things that they talk about that is missing from young players is fundamentals. Bill is all about the fundamentals. He's going to teach fundamentals. Bill said if he took this job, if he takes his job, that he was going to develop players and prepare them for the NFL. I think he has a definite edge here.
I agree with Scott 100%. And I'm telling you, this is why the people out there, and I respect their thoughts, and they have every right to their opinion, as I do mine, that him bouncing around coast to coast or wherever you want to call it to go recruit and break bread with these kids at the table in front of their parents, it ain't going to be as big a deal as most people think. It just isn't. And he's going to have the staff to do it, and he'll do a lot of Zoom calls, I'm sure. And exactly what Scott said, people, as parents, know the reputation of Bill Belichick. If their kid is good enough, or they think he's good enough to be in the pros, they're gonna send him to North Carolina. Now, no money is going to be a big part of it. Also, $20 million. It seems like a lot, but when you got, as we talked about yesterday, the basketball player from Brockton who went to BYU for $7.1 million for 1 year. I mean, you're going to have players like that. Cam Ward, I think, got something like $8 million as well, something like that, no money at Miami. So $20 million may seem like a lot, but it kind of isn't. But on reputation alone, I think Bill Belichick is going to be able to recruit just on reputation alone and the fact that parents know who he is. Another reaction, Roddy Jones yesterday on Sirius XM ACC radio on Jim Phillips reacting, the commissioner of the ACC, to the hiring of Bill Belichick.
This morning, Jim Phillips wakes up and thinks, what?
Jim Phillips' feet don't hit the floor when he wakes up. Like, Jim Phillips is floating right now. He is just gliding. This dude is walking on clouds. Jim Phillips he's not the biggest winner, because there are some massive winners of this, not to least of all the admissions office at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. The city of Chapel Hill is a winner. The ACC network and those who run it, big winner. But Jim Phillips is a big winner. You now have the biggest story in sports in your conference. In sports is in your conference right now. You can't beat that. And that's kind of, as I've been asked about this the last 2 days, the thing that I have told people about, like, we can get to the Belichick and college thing.
Yeah, we'll do that. We got months to do that. Yeah.
But the thing, having seen Colorado up close and seeing
that's where I wanted to go. That's where I wanted to go.
And seeing and having seen the impact of that up close,
right?
Carolina could not lose making this hire. Because ultimately this is a dollars and cents thing. Like, will we have more money or less money after this? And I can promise you will have more money. Period. Point blank. Because you are relevant. When's the last time Carolina football was talked about on SportsCenter like this at this time of year? Maybe when Mac Brown was hired, but it was for like that long because it was a college coach going to a college. Bill Belichick is the most famous coach in college football right now. Maybe Deion Sanders aside. But, like, those are the two. That's the list. So I think Jim Phillips is walking on clouds.
Walking on sunshine, right? As Katrina in the Wave said, yeah, I agree. And I can only imagine the season ticket price, probably, I don't know if they're going to go up, but I know there's going to be a lot of people that want season tickets now for North Carolina. And by the way, when you look, I went over their schedule yesterday. I'll do it again. But at Kingdom Memorial Stadium at Chapel Hill, I promise you that their ticket office must be bombarded. There's no question about it. It's not like you're used to seeing in North Carolina for most games. I mean, they get decent crowds, but nothing like crazy that you see in some of the other places around the ACC and around the rest of the country. But I guarantee you, next year they're going to. They open up at home on August 30th against TCU, the Horned Frogs. And then they have to travel to Charlotte, and then they're home to Richmond, and then at UCF, and then at California, at NC State, home against Clemson, home against Duke, home against Stanford, home against Virginia, and then they finish on the road at Syracuse and at Wake Forest. So it doesn't matter who they're playing. There's going to be a gigantic following for North Carolina, at least initially. I mean, if they come out and crap out, I mean, all right, all bets are off. But I don't think that is going to happen. I really don't. And we're going to see. I promise you, he is going to land or flip some people, a name or two or 10 that are going to flip wherever they were going and are going to go play for him. I promise you that is absolutely going to happen for Bill at North Carolina. All right. We do have some bit of breaking news. Actually, it broke about 40 minutes ago, but nevertheless, it only breaks when I say it. So the Miami Dolphins have waived wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., according to the NFL Network. Both sides agree a parting of the ways will be beneficial. OBJ, by the way, 9 catches this year for 55 yards this season.
That was a hell of a production. Why did they let him go?
Couldn't fit in with Waddle and
Tyreek Hill.
And Tyreek Hill, but at least he didn't quit. At least he didn't quit. Didn't complain about getting touches. But yeah, you know what? A good team will pick him up. A good team. This is one of those guys. Watch the Chiefs get him. Mark my words. Watch Kansas City get him.
Or an Eagles.
Somebody that is in contention that is going to go far in the playoffs, or Detroit, or Buffalo. You watch. He will end up on a really, really good team because the risk reward is fantastic.
He's going to go to Jacksonville.
No, he will not go to Jacksonville. He will not go to Jacksonville. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that game in a second as well with the Jets at Jacksonville. Aaron Rodgers running his mouth again yesterday or 2 days ago, ripping, mostly it sounds like ESPN television shows for all the comments that they make and this, that, and the other thing, and they don't show highlights anymore. Anyway, Mina Kimes has a reaction to that as well. Take a quick break. Next hour, my pigskin picks. Maybe Patrick Gilroy at the bottom of the hour, though I'm thinking no. So we'll just do more football. Sean McAdam live from Dallas at the MLB meetings, winter meetings at 9:05. And then Gabe Morency, Sports Rage, with his pigskin picks coming up at 9:30. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on this Friday the 13th. Woo! Here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You want the best in sports and entertainment? You got it. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
And I've never been a runner like some of the great athletic guys in the league. Even Josh in Buffalo, I never had his top end speed or his ability to run people over. But I've always been able to kind of move around the pocket a little bit and make plays outside the pocket, throw the ball on the run. Last couple weeks I felt a lot better, physically, and I feel like I played some better football.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is not full. That is Aaron Rodgers, and trying to make excuses for his poor play and not being mobile and blah 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 blah. And everybody's just about sick and tired of this guy, but yet he's somewhat still in the media because he keeps saying these he's entitled to his opinion. He thinks shows, sports shows, and some of the players that are on it now who he claims that didn't have great careers but now have become experts. And look, some of the greatest coaches of all time, like Bill Belichick, played Division III football. I mean, look, and a lot of these guys, like a guy like Orlovsky, he's tremendous. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been offered a GM job somewhere as well. There are others that are very, very good at what they do. Just because they didn't have the potential credentials like you have, Aaron, who hasn't done squat since 2010, really, it's kind of an unfair assessment by him. He went off on the media a couple days ago on shows like First Take and Get Up and some other stuff on NFL Network about some ex-athletes talking about his career on ESPN. He didn't like it. If we could scroll down, Angel, and it's under Bill Belichick, it's under Brett McMurphy, and it's awful announcing, and it's Mina Kimes yesterday on First Take with Stephen A. and Orlovsky. And who else is there? Ryan Clark, I think. And she responded to Aaron Rodgers.
He's a dope anyways.
I'm not offended by it at all. I do think it's worth parsing out the things that he said. His point that personality-driven programming has overtaken highlights. He's well within his rights to note that, but others are well within their rights to note that he is espousing that opinion on a personality-driven program that employs him as a personality during the NFL season. That context does matter here. The other context that matters is I think there's some subtext that he is saying some of the criticism perhaps of his play this year might have been unfounded. Again, he is totally well within his rights to note that, but a lot of the criticism this year is substantiated because of his play. And I guess that's why I come away from this feeling like there is a lot of validity to this message, but it does seem like the wrong messenger at this moment.
Fair.
I'm not offended by it
I'm
at
gonna
all.
read
I
it
do
again
think
so
it's
Aaron
worth
can
out
hear it.
the things that he said.
Just so you
His
can hear
point that personality-driven programming has overtaken highlights. He's well within his rights to note that, but others are well within their rights to note that he is espousing that opinion on a personality-driven program that employs him as a personality during the NFL season.
Yeah,
Rodgers.
First of all, shows aren't going away. Second of all, they've only pointed out the truth. There haven't been any lies. No one's making this crap up, Aaron. You're the one that claims you don't want to be a distraction, yet you are always the distraction. And your piss poor play, you keep making excuses for yourself and this, that, and the other thing. And the bottom line is you just haven't been really good lately. Certainly not this year. You've been one of the worst quarterbacks, and you don't have it. You just don't. You don't have it, and your personality sucks. Nobody likes you, and they want you to go away. Plain and simple. One of his lackeys on the Post says, Rodgers' specific point is that former player personalities on ESPN are overwhelmingly those who were somewhere between role players and bench fodder during their careers. That in itself is wrong. That's not true. Their playing careers largely weren't very memorable, but they turned to TV to attain relevancy. Again, that's just off. Rodgers has had an extremely memorable and relevant playing career. He appears on McAfee, but neither needs nor relies on that appearance for cultural relevance. Are you serious? Are you freaking kidding me? Who is this Lafferty? Daniel Lafferty, this lackey. Him simply observing these things is not in any way hypocritical, and Kimes feigning diplomacy while strawmanning Rodgers' whole contention doesn't lend any credibility to her already long debated standard as a journalist. Wow, that's a lot of alliteration for somewhat anxious anchors, Daniel Lafferty. Maybe you should have your own. He goes, I'm a Bears fan, by the way. Oh, that justifies everything. You're an idiot. You're entitled to your opinion. But if you use words like hypocrite and distractions and all that stuff and relevance, and he's going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
What, Aaron?
Because he will. He will during his peak, even though he's only won one Super Bowl. And I'm tired of hearing this narrative that he made throws that so many other players couldn't make. I think that's all bullshit. I think he was in his prime. He was excellent, very, very good. There's no denying that in his prime. But the last few years, you suck. Brett Favre at the end of go look at Brett Favre's somewhat inflated numbers the last 6 or 7 years in the playoffs. Go look at it. And look how bad the interceptions were compared to touchdowns. He was bad. And he's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. By the way, we were off the day. The Gastineau thing, that airs tonight, I believe. That was frightening. Before I get to my pigskin pick, did you see the highlights of that when Brett Favre was confronted by Gastineau at the. It's going to be part of a 30-30 show tonight because Gastineau is still upset that Michael Strahan, got the phony baloney sack at the end of the game against Green Bay many years ago and broke his sack record.
Oh well,
he might have got it. If it wasn't going to be that game, he would have got it. He would have got it. If it wasn't that play, he might have gotten it at another time. The thing is so ridiculous. And Gastineau, and of course Mark Klecko back in the day, the New York Sack Exchange, for those of kids don't remember, but they were phenomenal with the Jets. I mean, absolutely. Now, Gastineau was also deemed kind of selfish because he didn't ever want to do anything except rush the passer, which he was very good at. But there were other times that the Jets needed him to get back in coverage sometimes. He didn't want to do it. Very selfish that way, which some of his teammates like Steve Lyons or Marty Lyons are going to come out and talk about. I don't know if Klecko is in this or not, but did you see that? You saw the video, Angel, right? The highlight of that, of him confronting, like that 2-minute video of him confronting Brett Favre at a memorabilia show?
Yep.
Gastineau looks like not the Bill Bixby Hulk, not the Ed Norton Hulk. He looks like the Mark Ruffalo Hulk when he's in the last movie. Remember when he was still in Avengers Endgame, where he was not all the way, but that's how Mark Gastineau looked. Like crazy wacko. And it looked like he was going to unload on Brett Favre, and thank God one of his handlers pulled him away. But I believe that's on tonight. That 30 for 30 is on tonight on ESPN. And Mark Gastineau, get over yourself. I mean, records are always made to be broken. They have been for a very, very long time. And for him to say how he hurt me and everything else, and the video was frightening, absolutely freaking frightening when you look at it. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. What else can we do? All right, yeah. Let's get to. I still don't know if Patrick Gilroy is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, Angel. But nevertheless, if he does, he does. If he doesn't, right now it is time for my awesome, incredible. There we go. It's time for Pigskin Picks, Angel. Time for Pigskin Picks. Ring the chimes. Ring the bells. It's Friday the 13th. Next. I opened my door up again.
Boy.
Well, Chara. Luna likes to perch on the couch and then look out the door. So now she has the front door to look out and the back door, the back lanai to look out. Anyway, recap. Last week, in the National Football League, I went 7-5. So for the year, after 161 games, again, I did not make picks for 2 weeks this year, once when I was on vacation and once because of stupid Hurricane Milton. So on the year, after going 7-5 last week, once again, I am 85, 72, and 4 in 161 games, 13 games over 500, all against the spread. That's a 540 winning percentage. College football, I started to make a good run a couple weeks ago when I went 7-3. Last week, during conference championship week, I fell to, I went 4-5 last week. So for the year, I am 30-40, 70 games. That is a 423 winning percentage. As well, after going 4-5 last week. I actually wrote down 7-3, but that was the week before. All right. My best bets last week. My best bet. One, I had Oregon minus 3.5. That one, so I improved to 5-6 on the year. It's a 455 winning percentage. My underdog of the week continues to do well. I had Marshall plus 5.5. They won the game outright. 7-4, my underdog of the week. That's a 636 winning percentage. So I will have my best bet and underdog of the week coming up in just a couple of minutes here. So let's get to my picks this week in college football and the National Football League. Only one game in college that I'm picking. I'm not doing FCS playoffs. Don't know enough about it. I would say take the favorite in every game. But the big Army-Navy game is coming up once again at Indianapolis at the Naval Academy. Army minus 6.5 at Navy. One of my favorite games of the year. It's amazing. Usually you take the under in this game. Gabe Morency will probably tell you that coming up. I don't know about this year, though. I'm not sure about that. One thing I do know is Army is a much better team. Navy was also ranked this year as well. Army's had a great season. for them. Only one loss. They're terrific. -6.5. I'm going with Army. -6.5. I think they get it done by double digits. I really do. I think Navy keeps it close for a little bit, but Army's too talented. They pull away. Army, -6.5. Next! Let's get right to the National Football League. Already 1-0 after last night. Had the Rams. Had the Rams up +3. Win. I believe that's, 4 in a row? 5 in a row? Against San Francisco. All right, next up, Carolina is -2.5 at Dallas. Who the hell is going to watch this game? Well, if you like ugly football, although Carolina's been playing better, they're at home against Dallas. I never thought I'd be saying this. I'm going to take 2.5. Carolina -2.5, home against Dallas. Go Panthers. Although Dallas on the road plays much better on the road than they do at home. Next. Houston is a 3-point favorite at home against the Miami Dolphins. And Miami struggled to beat the Jets last week. That's okay. They got it done and they covered. Not so fast this week. I am loving the Houston Texans. -3 over the Wild Thing and Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. Houston -3. Next. Jacksonville is home as a 3.5-point underdog against the Jets. There's no way in hell I'm picking the Jets ever, ever, ever. It's not even a head-heart issue. It's just a logical issue. They stink. And Jacksonville, even with Mac Jones, I think can cover in this game. So I'm going with Jacksonville +3.5 against the Jets. Next. Interesting game. The New Orleans Saints. Washington is a 7.5-point road favorite at New Orleans. New Orleans is banged up with Derek Carr. This is a tough one to call. I'm going to roll the dice here. And Washington -7.5, but I don't feel great about it. I don't. This is a game I absolutely would not touch. But for the sake of the show, Washington -7.5. Next. The biggest line all year. The Baltimore Ravens on the road at the Giants. Baltimore right now is a 16.5-point favorite. Might go down to 16. I can only go by what the odds were yesterday when I was doing my 2-hour prep for this segment. I am laying the 16.5. You know why? I don't think the Giants are going to score in the game. If they do, it's going to be 6 points or less. I don't. I think this is like 30-6 or 30-0. Baltimore stomps all over the Giants. Tommy Cutlets is starting again. DeVito is back in. I don't know why, because Drew Lock couldn't do anything last week either. What a disgrace. What a joke the Giants are. I think the Ravens are going to come out guns a-blazing, and Lamar Jackson and company and King Henry, they just dominate. And I think the Giants are going to have a hard time scoring in this game. I really do. I'm going to say right now 30-3 Baltimore. 30-3, maybe 30-0. But lay the 16.5. Biggest number of the year. Lay it! Lay it, I say. Next. Cincinnati. 5-point favorite at Tennessee. Tennessee is awful against the spread, like 2-10 against the spread this year. Bengals, still a very talented football team. Tennessee is terrible. Cincinnati on the road -5. I think some pride left with the Bengals, and I think they get it done. Next. Let's get to all the 4 o'clock games. They're all 4:25. No 4:05 starts this week. First one up, my Patriots at Arizona. I am taking my Patriots +6 on the road against a certainly somehow now a recently struggling Arizona team that can't seem to get out of their own way. And that means Drake May will make them pay because Arizona cannot get out of their own way. P-A-T-S, Pats, Pats, Pats. +6. They'll probably lose, but they will cover. They will find a way to lose, but they probably cover. Patriots +6. Next. Denver, home against Indy. 4-point favorites. Love the Broncos in this spot. Love the Broncos here. Denver -4 over Indy. Next. What could be one of the great games of the day. It's unfortunate. I believe it's going on at the same time as the Eagles and the Steelers, but the Buffalo Bills are a 2.5-point dog at Detroit. Buffalo coming off that 44-42 loss to the Rams. Detroit just continues to win every which way they can. They're still banged up. This should be a very high-scoring game again last week. And guess what, Detroit Lion fans? What Chris Berman used to say? Circle the wagons with the Buffalo Bills. Circle the wagons. I'm taking the Bills plus 2.5 on the road. Beat Detroit 95-92. Next, the Red Hot, as I predicted when they were 4-6. I told you that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were not going to lose again. They will not. They can't. They won't. They're a 3-point dog on the road. Although we think it's on the road, it's at SoFi, so that means more Buccaneer fans will be there than Charger fans. Tampa Bay plus 3 all day, Baker Mayfield, all day. See ya, Jim Harbaugh. Going down again. Tampa Bay plus 3. Next, one of the games of the day is the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 5-point favorites at home against Pittsburgh. They have not lost to the Steelers at home since 1960 or 50. I can't remember. I should remember, but I can't. It doesn't matter. 40, 50, 60 years, it doesn't matter. The Eagles own the Steelers at home. Now, Russell Wilson has also owned the Eagles. He is 6-0 in his career against them, including 4-0 in Philadelphia, but never with the Steelers, only with Seattle and Denver. So, that being said, I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they win this game 7-10 points. They get it done. It's going to be a hell of a game. I think all the minutia and all the covering up of what happened this week between Brandon Graham and Jalen Hurts and Brown, I think that gets swept away because the life coach, Nick Sirianni, has got a grasp of the whole situation. He took him 3 minutes to tell you that he handled it. And I don't dare play it for you again. But I do think this is going to be the antithesis of last year for the Eagles. It's going to galvanize them. And I think Philadelphia gets it done. 1968, Rick M. said. Okay, 1960. That was close. 1968 is the last time the Steelers won in Philadelphia. Philadelphia -5. Next, Seattle is a 2.5-point home underdog at home. Home underdog at home. Did I really need to say that again? Idiot. Against Green Bay. And if you look, not just trends alone, these two teams are very good, playing very good football right now. But the home team usually wins this game. I think the last 8 times they played, 7 or 8 times they played, the home team has won. I'm going with Seattle at home, plus 2.5 as they continue to fight for not only a playoff spot, but the division. Seattle plus 2.5 at Green Bay. Next, Kansas City is a 4-point favorite on the road at Cleveland, which means they will probably win by 1 or 2 points. But no, I don't. I think that the Chiefs can squeak out like a 6-7, a touchdown win, 6 points. They can just cover barely against Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns. Kansas City -4. That is my play. That's Sunday night, I believe. And now we have 2 Monday night games again, which I can't stand. 2 Monday night games coming up next week. We'll get to more of that on Monday, but I am taking, for the record, Minnesota -7 and Atlanta. I don't know why, with Kirk Cousins, the way he's playing, what I'm doing anyway. Atlanta -4, but more on those 2 games anyway. So to recap the whole thing, Army -6.5, Rams plus 2.5, Carolina -2.5, Houston -3, Washington -7.5, Baltimore -16.5, Cincy -5, Patriots +6, Denver -4, Buffalo plus 2.5, Tampa Bay +3, Philadelphia -5, Seattle plus 2.5, Kansas City -4. My best bet of the week this week is going to be Houston -3 at home against Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. That's my best bet of the week. Houston -3. My underdog of the week, which is on fire. I usually pick teams that I think can win the game outright, and Seattle is that play. Seattle plus 2.5 at home as my underdog of the week against the Green Bay Packers. And there you have it, my pigskin picks. Well, I'm going to take a chance here that maybe Patrick Gilroy will join us. I want to see. I'm actually going to text him. Take a regular break here, Angel. And let me see if I can work some magic here. Otherwise, we're just going to go back to NFL and college football and Bill Belichick and a lot more preview sound to give you guys for some of these great games coming up. I am Bachelor Boy this weekend. Going to have a few of the fellers. A few of the fellers are coming over. Just the boys this weekend. I mean, two. More were invited, but only two can come. But anyway, so it's me and the fellers and Luna coming up. Just some sandwiches, some wings, little knickknacks, 4:25 start. So, you know how it goes. Angel will be chewing his nails all game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what's your plan for Sunday?
Well, other than working on stuff, but no, I'll be here. At one point, I was thinking about just taking a ride down to Tampa Joe's. I haven't done a broadcast from there in a while, nor would I do a broadcast. No offense to anyone down there, but it's just because of so much stuff during the week. I was thinking at one point taking a ride down there just because I haven't been to a home game at home at Tampa Joe's in a minute. But I don't know. We'll kind of.
It's tough to do. I mean, it's tough. Like you got to make sure you have space so people can hear you if you're going to do any type. Even if you did do a Facebook Live if you go down there. Just to go on Facebook, do a Facebook Live a little bit, and show them some love because they've supported us, and over these last year, so they've been fantastic. Yeah, don't wait till the game, the pregame. Don't wait till the game starts and be going crazy in there. It'd be nuts.
I know, but I've done it before where I've been. It all depends because sometimes where I've sat inside. It's been good, and then other times it all depends. But no, it's been a minute since I've been down there. And no, again, it's the fan base is great. I mean, it's the only place, and I know people talk about Eagles fans like, oh my God, you guys are ridiculous. We have the best time at Tampa Joe's, absolutely the best time because Mike Goodwin doesn't put up with crap. Period. It's just the way it is, and neither does the club.
You shouldn't. You should be able to go and root on your team and not, throw drinks at people and have fights or over playful bantering. It's crazy. I bet you it was nuts in there last night with Tampa. Kucherov had 6 points last night again in that game, and Tampa won 8-3. We'll have some NBA and I guess some NBA. The Celtics kicked ass again last night against the Detroit Pistons. Tatum didn't play. I love watching them play, and I especially love the passing. I know that they take a lot of, Pritchard is he's fucking unconscious. Just absolutely unconscious of what the threes that he puts up, and just every one of them that leaves his hand, almost every one is perfect. And he may not make all of them, but man, he makes a lot of them. It's just the technique, and they're just unbelievable. I'm sorry the Celtics didn't make the stupid NBA Cup. Neither did Cleveland.
Worthless.
The two best teams in the NBA are Boston and Cleveland, in my opinion. They are the two best teams, both in the Eastern Conference. In the Eastern Conference, the Knicks can beat everybody except Atlanta and the Celtics, but they can't. Atlanta has got their number. So what's Atlanta and Milwaukee? Is that tonight? I think it's. They actually had to rearrange some schedules in the NBA, including the Celtics. Atlanta, Milwaukee, and OKC, and Houston. And former coach of the Celtics, Udoka, is doing a great job with the Rockets, even though Charles Barkley says he doesn't like the way they play. All right, there's your NBA talk for the day. Celtics just kicked ass. The Bruins humiliated themselves again. They've been outscored 13-2 their last two games. 8-1 at Winnipeg, and continuing on the road last night to the freaking Kraken in Seattle. They lose 5-1. All of a sudden, it's gone from sunshine to shit in just a week. Started off 7-3, and now they are playing worse than they even did under Jim Montgomery. This is awful. And Joe Sacco better do something to try to fix this. They just sucked. Penguin AZ says, Buenos dias, feliz viernes, amigos. Yes, same to you.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, Lawton had 4 goals last night, too. Rick says, see you at Tampa Joe's, Angel. All right, quick break. When we come back, more reaction from some people on ESPN about Bill Belichick. We have some NFL preview sound as well. I'm going to text Patrick Gilroy. Full break here, Angel. We'll see what we can do. Pete Sheppard Show until 10 here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Hey, freaks. Happy Freaky Friday, Friday the 13th, if you believe in that kind of thing. Whoop! no superstitions about fans being on setting number 1. Only on setting number 1 today because it's still a little chilly, 55 degrees. It is warming up. A little bit warmer yesterday. A lot warmer today, I should say, this morning anyway. Out on the lanai having my coffee at 5:15 this morning with Luna. She kind of likes the cold weather from time to time. Rick and Penguin are having a conversation. Easy having a conversation. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show. Oh, hang on. Hold on. I got a
got an update.
Oh, that's you just got it too from our buddy Lou DiMuzio.
Yep.
So you want go ahead, Angel. Inform everybody what happened. No, it's good stuff. This is great stuff. His knees put together. I need my glasses to see it. I can't see it right now. But
Yep.
if you,
Already it's over on via the LinkedIn. Ace Technology Advisors was recently a sponsor of the Pete Sheppard Show, and our very own Lou DiMuzio was a special guest. While Lou and Pete talked about ATA's favorite football team, the Miami Hurricanes, Lou also discussed the value of partnering with ATA and why a technology advisor like us promote business growth with technology investment. The Coastal Sports Network and ATA partnership has already proven results, and we want the same for your business. Check out Pete on his show from 7 to 10 a.m. daily, Monday through Friday, and reach out to Lou for any technology needs for your business to implement efficiency advancements. That's amazing.
it's awesome stuff. Great stuff. Great stuff. And by the way, I also wanted real quick. Want to tell you about my buddy Phil Castanetti and Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts. It's New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. They always have great events. They always have great signings down there. But don't forget, it's Christmas and holiday season is coming up. So Sports World is loaded up with mystery boxes, jerseys, baseballs, pucks, mini sticks, all wrapped up, by the way, for you and ready to go. So get on over there to Phil Castanetti Sports World. Call them at 781-233-7222, 781-233-7222. You don't want to miss it. Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. So be there. Great stuff.
By the way, one more thing. Well, actually, two more. I'll get to the second one here in a second. So, though today is Friday the 13th, my son's birthday was 2 days ago when he turned 28 years old. Happy birthday to my son. So the funny thing was, and I was telling this to Debbie.
Did I not know you had a son? That's too not. I didn't know. Did I know that?
See. You knew it.
Sorry, I'm an idiot. I can't keep track of all these people.
But anyway, my son turned 28 years old 2 days ago when I was,
What's his name?
Angel, just like me. He's the third.
Okay. So another Angel. Happy birthday, Angel Jr.
But the funny part was I was sharing with Debbie yesterday was that originally, because he decided to stay in the incubator just a little bit longer, to kind of move around and get stuff done. But The doctor said, just to let you know, Mr. Martinez, that there's a good possibility that your son will be born on Friday the 13th. I said, I don't care what you got to do. Pull him out on the 12th if needed be. He's not getting. Yeah, so that was one. But the other thing as well, all those great little sound bites that we can listen to, where could folks find that information from?
Well, that is a great point by you. Great way to pivot. For the best articles in audio, only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It is Total Sports Prep. The staff combs through the best articles in audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep. The name says it all. It's another jingle. Hold on.
Sounds like some folks are a little bit chilly. 48 degrees or 46 degrees, as Penguin AC says, in the desert. Duncan Dad, have plenty of coffee because 26. I don't miss them days. I swear I don't miss them days.
Absolutely not. Speaking of fun, and 9:05, Sean McAdler joined me from Dallas at the baseball winter meeting. We want to talk about not only Garrett Crochet coming to the Red Sox for allegedly four of their better prospects, but what else is going on down there? If he anticipates any other moves by the Red Sox coming up shortly before I believe the meetings end today. But Sean's going to join us, one of the best baseball insiders as well from Dallas. And at 9:30, Gabe Morency, one of the best in the handicapping business. Duncan Dad says, I love 13.
So does Taylor Swift.
All right, Angel. On my Facebook page, if I may, you need to scroll down a few. I meant to play this the other day. It's under right under from 4 days ago. It's right under Jay Flannelly Award Manual. The picture. This guy Billy Deuce put a video and a parody song for the opening of Cheers to what it's like to drive around in Boston now. Now there was another incident a couple of nights ago, the Ted Williams Tunnel. The amount of bullshit, the political crap that comes out of the people's mouths in New England is absolutely unbelievable when it comes. Nobody can just say we really fucked up. And the Ted Williams Tunnel, Angel, which is the main way how you get to Logan Airport now, which is underground, under the water, was literally underwater. There was water like 3 feet high on both sides the other night, the other day, morning commute. The water, it looked like you were driving in the ocean. It was that bad. And their excuse was it got clogged from debris from a truck or cars and yada, yada, yada. And it was unbelievable. I wasn't even sure how cars even made it through. If you ever, after this, while this song is playing, if you want to see the video, I'd love to play it. You wouldn't believe it. Imagine going through like the Holland Tunnel or any tunnel in the Northeast where the water is almost up to the door. I mean, it was that bad. And they claim it was, they need some Drano, an extra strong Drano, to unclog that. I mean, it was a cluster bleep. And they said, it won't happen again. Okay. Yeah, everybody believes that. Did you find the post on Facebook?
You said it was under the picture with Jay?
Yeah, it's underneath. It's under. I have it. It's under my name. It says Pete. It's under my thing. It says hysterical, and then it's Billy Deuce.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
It's called Cheers, where not everybody knows your name, but where everybody hates your face. This is very funny.
Oh boy.
Walking downtown in Boston today takes everything you got. Last call is 1:30, but at least there's legal pot. And it seems jaywalking is okay. Trying to drive down one-way streets where people double park. Can understand the folks you meet, cause they sound like Marky Mark. And the friggin' parking is insane. Because there's a Red Sox game where everybody loves Fenway. And the Bruins come to play. You wanna go where you can see the tugboats driving past. early, be anywhere on time. The potholes are tradition and turn signals are a crime. And the subway smells like pee. That's just what they call the tea. Now you might just wanna see where the British had to flee. Taking a walk through Southie now, hoping you don't get lost. You're gonna go where everybody calls you boss.
What's up, boss?
What's going on, kid?
Fuck you.
Where everybody hates your face. Everybody hates your face. And the kind of magic cake. Where everybody hates your face. Everybody hates your face. And the kind of magic cake.
No, I promise you, Boston overall is a pretty friendly city. I think Philly, Boston, New York get bad raps, Angel.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of what he just did in that parody is absolutely true, as far as the driving and everything else. And when you go through South, not the South, not the South end of Boston, but Southie, where all the movies are made and everything else. But yeah, you're boss. Hey, boss, Pete, boss. It's not Pete, boss. Boss, what's up? What's up? And if you yell out Sully, 8,000 people turn their heads. What?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. What? What do you want? Nothing. Buy a shot. Oh. All right. Fuck you. Cheers.
It's funny because in Philly, the same with you. You go to South Philly, some of the blocks down there, you go down, it's the same thing. People are just double parked. Now, as far as the Italians, back in the day, and every once in a while, it might still happen. I mean, I haven't been home in a while, but back in the day, if you double parked and God forbid is when near the mafioso's house, they come out and says, hey, I mean, tell them no. Oh boy.
Oh, I think it goes deeper than that, Angel. It doesn't matter if you're, Italian mafia, Irish Jew. It doesn't matter. You take up parking spaces if in any big city, especially cities that have snowstorm. I mean, you're talking about really bad weather and snow. You shovel out a parking spot in Boston, and I'm sure it's the same way in Philadelphia and New York, but particularly in Boston, you spend an hour shoveling out your spot on the street and somebody takes it, your car will be destroyed. If you put a chair out there, and even if it takes a few hours for that person to come back, do not move that chair. Otherwise, you will find your car keyed, or tires will be missing, windshield will be smashed. That's just the way. Now, I never did that, but having lived in the city for a long time, and I did get to take public transportation to work, the smelly PT, occasionally. Well, the orange line was never that bad. The green line was bad. But when I used to go the orange line for many years, and that wasn't bad at all. And there was one point where we actually had paid parking in a garage. It was about 2 blocks away, but still nevertheless worth it, where you didn't have to worry about it. But you know this. You park on the street in any big city, and it's like having sex for the first time. You don't want, it's like, wow, this is unbelievable. You don't want to move. And Seinfeld brings it up all the time. It's like, people get parking spaces like that, they never leave. It is true. You get a good parking space, especially you come home on a Friday in a big city, where it's Boston, Philly, or New York, or wherever, and you get a spot on the street that's near your house. Anything, if you're lucky, if something's across the street from your house or your apartment or condo, wherever it is, that is, you don't want to move. Like, you just don't want to move your car. It's like this sickness that goes on. And I can't tell you, and there were times too, Angel, where I used to have to, you get home, I drive from home, where I worked at in Boston, at the New Balance building at the end, was only about 4 miles from my house. So going was easy because it was off hours. I'd get there about noontime for a 2 o'clock show. But coming home during rush hour down Storrow Drive, assuming some idiot truck driver didn't try to get his truck through the overpass where it says, 8 feet high or lower, and there's always some knucklehead 800, 900 times a year that tries to not see the sign and get stuck, and then everybody's blocked, and there's no way to go. There's nowhere to go. You can't move. You can't leave. You can't cross lanes and get out. There's no exits. You're trapped. But coming home, and then you get to your neighborhood, and you get to drive around 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour to try to find a spot before you give up and go pay the $25 in the Brinks garage down the street. Same, if you remember the Brinks Job, the movie back in the day with Peter Falk, that's exactly where the building was, right near the parking garage. It's a parking garage now. And that what used to happen. It used to be so frustrating because you work all day, you come home, you want to party with your friends. It's Friday, you can't find a place to park. It's crazy in the North End in Boston and all the other ends too, West, East, South, Easty, all parts of Boston. And there is nothing worse on a Friday night than driving home. You can't find a parking spot. Just horrible. I mean, I love living in the city, loved it. I mean, I wouldn't traded that decade for anything. It was just absolutely fantastic. But God, it was absolutely brutal. You got something you got something up there?
That's in Philly.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So the old neighborhood where I used to live down there by 4th and Snyder, which Snyder's the next basically.
That's where Rocky ran by.
Yeah. Well, this here is where you have now. That was my neighbor's car, which was you had mentioned. Like if you get a job or a parking spot right in front of the house, that's what it was. And then it was 2 cars or 2 wheels on the sidewalk, and then the other one because it's small streets. If you parked your car on the street itself, guarantee some knucklehead is going to take off your mirror. But that's the way it was. It was everybody was one on top of the other, and it snowed. So the black car that's behind my neighbor's car. So that guy was just ruthless. Nice guy. Once you met him, you get to know him. He was really good. But like you mentioned, it was a snowfall and we ended up getting like back-to-back nor'easters. So he dug out his car, put the cone there, ended up going to work. So I come, I'm like, that car shouldn't be there. So it happened like within a matter of minutes. I go inside the house to go grab something, come back out. I'm like, car's gone. Well, he left a note on his stick with the cone and told whoever it was that your car was here. It was gone.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. And there were, the North End, you've seen some of the movies and everything else. It's not like one big flat area. The North End has a ton, steep hills of Boston. Not you go up where the Old North Church is, where Paul Revere and the British are coming and all that. Overrated stuff. I'm kidding. All the history and everything else. But you start walking up Salem Street and up to some of the, past the Old North Church, it's like a 90-degree angle. Some of those people that live on some of the streets, which I can't remember the name of some of them now, but they would get snowed in, Angel. A lot of people used to be able to walk to work. even when it was like from the North End through to Faneuil Hall and the financial district, which is a good 10, 15-minute walk. And if it's snowing or it's windy out, it sucks. But you would see cars. They weren't cars. They were basically like moguls you see on a ski slope. And they were just bumps in the street. And you knew it was your friend's car. You also knew you weren't going to see that car until May.
Yep.
I'm not kidding. Like cars would be snowed in sometimes from December until May. Because it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth digging out only for another snowstorm to hit. And then the worst, you mentioned, your mirror get taken off. It happened to me at least 4 times in 10 years where I got a good spot on the street. It wasn't one of a part of the street where then you have to worry about moving your car during a snowstorm because then all of a sudden you can't park in certain streets in the Northeast during a snowstorm. You have to move your car. So I find 4 times I found safe spots. 4 times snowplow comes down the street, not only took my mirror off, I came out one time, my front door, I couldn't even open it. And somebody witnessed it, said it was the snowplows that did it. They didn't give a shit. No note, nothing. Thank God my insurance covered it. But also when you have to register to drive in any big city, your insurance goes way up. Yep. Because of idiots like that. So that's the trials and tribulations that we had to go through. Living in which I don't have to go through now, thank goodness, because as they say down here, you don't have to shovel sunshine, baby. You don't have to shovel sunshine. All right. If we could, Angel, before we go to break, if you refresh again, OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. is gone. He has been released by the Miami Dolphins. Anybody who signs him, $201,666. Right below that is what he's owed on Get Up yesterday. they're talking about Bill Belichick and how a new era has begun. Here's Darren Orlovsky and the guys. You might have to read. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Welcome.
When Nick Saban retired from college football, it was a massive change. It felt like in a bad way that college football was changing so much that the greatest college football coach of all time no longer wanted to be a part of it. And I think today signals college football is changing, but with a positive vantage point, that the greatest coach of all time is choosing to go be in college football, and I think it's a new era that will start. When Nick Saban retired from college.
Absolutely. Great stuff there as well. I think it's exciting for the ACC. It's pissing off the SEC people because nobody's talking about the SEC for the next couple of days, and the SEC snot rags out there. Hate to see that Bill Belichick is going to make an impact in the ACC, which he absolutely is going to do. I promise you that. He's going to make an impact. All right, quick break, Angel. When we come back, we'll full break, and when we come back, actually, it's only just do the local stuff. There are wonderful, great sponsors instead of the PSAs. I don't care what's going on in the forest. But Sean McAdam is going to join me from Dallas at the winter meetings. We're going to talk about not only Garrett Crochet and what he's going to mean for the Red Sox, but if any more big deals are on the horizon here. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jimmy the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
You want the best in sports and entertainment? You got it. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Welcome back. It's hour number 3 of the Pete Sheppard Show. A little baseball music. John Fogerty, a little center field, gets you in the mood. A little hot stove league talk coming up in just a second here with Sean McAdam, one of the great baseball writers in the country, big-time baseball insider, going to join me just a little bit from masslive.com. And he's been in Dallas all week long. And nobody better than him, one of the best. And he'll be joining me shortly here as we get the update of what's going on, not only with the Red Sox, but all of Major League Baseball. And more importantly, I want to know what they had to eat, what the spread was like, if they were treated properly, all that stuff that only media people care about. You know what the best spread ever was? I got to say, and not just because it's my hometown boys. The Patriots always have, it's good stuff. The Patriots always have good food. And this is when it used to be free. Now it's not. Now you got to pay. If you're a media person in most arenas, you got to pay either $10, sometimes $20 to eat. The Red Sox used to charge $7. The Red Sox used to charge $7 or $8. It's probably more than that now. When the Bruins and Celtics and Patriots would never charge, and you'd leave a tip, a couple of dollars here, $5 there, every once in a while. And it wasn't like this big gourmet spread. But Angel, for playoffs, 2008 NBA Finals. This woman shall be nameless. They had a spread. We had a spread at the Garden for the Celtics Lakers before Game 1 that was absolutely ridiculous. I'm talking about tables full of lobster, all sorts of fresh seafood, stuff like that. This woman came over, who was not from New England, by the way, but I don't want to mention her name because I don't want to embarrass her. This was, again, 16 years ago. Took 3 whole lobsters off the tray. 3. Put them on. She had two dishes. 3 lobsters, like 2 giant things of corn on the cob, and somehow a big bowl of clam chowder on top, and balanced it all the way, which was a decent walk to where you had to sit. And I'm like, first I thought maybe she's getting these lobsters for 2 other people. Nope. Down. It was like, remember the Man Hands episode in Seinfeld when she break? That's what it was like. Absolutely. That is what it was like. No question about it. Thanks, everybody, for checking it again. These are the type of stories that are, it's the stuff away from the sports scene. You just sit there and scratch your head. Some of the conversations I've heard in my lifetime, I swear to God, they don't have to be anonymous in books, but you would not believe some of the shit that goes on behind the scenes in these arenas with media people. It is absolutely funny, brutal, sad, and pathetic at times. And I just sit there and, I don't get caught up with it. I just shake my head and just say, God, what is it like to wake up to be you every single morning and have to go through that? It's like Bill Murray, like, and what about Bob? Like, to have to be like that, right? Or so anal retentive, or so like crazy. Some of these media people are. Anyway, gladly, I'm only a little nuts. Thanks for checking us out here on the Coastal Sports Network video platform at PShep326 on Twitter, X, on Facebook, SR1029thegame.com, Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Kick, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, and call or text at 727-858-6650. Before Sean comes on, I want to say next week on Monday, my good friend, Lisa Mann, she's a good friend now, and her partner, whose name is not in front of me right now, and they run the Southeast Scotty Terrier Rescue at their home. They are, it's an amazing process. It's how we found Luna. And we're going to do some little holiday, Christmas/holiday spirit for them coming up starting next week. And for the whole week, we're going to have a link up, and your generosity would be greatly appreciated. Whatever you can, I don't care if it's $1, $5, whatever, to donate. When you see, and we'll have the Facebook link up there, and we'll have the .com site up there, and because Lisa and her partner and her husband Billy, and her partner's husband is also a law enforcement person, as Billy is, they have to pay all these initial veterinary costs for all this stuff. And it adds up, as you can imagine, especially if you don't have dog insurance. But I mean, it adds up. And the rescue job that they do with these Scotty Terriers, and I'm sure there's other breeds of dogs all over the country, but I want to specifically focus on this particular breed and these people because they are amazing. You talk about angels. These people are amazing at what they do. The patience and the love and the kindness, and how they have rehabilitated many of the dogs were in, Luna was not in rough shape. She had her issues, and you can go online and check them out, and you'd never know it by now. And they had a few other dogs recently that have been there that the worst part is at the end when the new owners, when they finally go through a very strict vetting process of, they don't just give these dogs away to anybody. And I'll save it for Monday. I'll let them tell you about it. But how they acquire these dogs, it's so sad at times. It makes me want to call the police. But once they're there at her home and her partner's home, They do an amazing job at training them, getting all their shots, bathing them. Very much, so many times there's massive dental issues. Teeth have to be pulled and whatever. They do an amazing job. So I really wanted to help them out. I could have done this for a lot of organizations, but this is near and dear to my heart. And when you see and you hear Lisa and her partner come on Monday at about 9:05, they're going to tell you all about this incredible organization. And they rescue Scotties. It's called Southeast Scottish Terrier Rescue. But they get, there are people all over the country, not only all over the country that want some of these dogs, but all over the world once they're, she was telling me yesterday about a story from a person from Sweden that she had just spoken to that was really interested. Scotland, the UK. They all, it's a worldwide, she's known now worldwide. And I want to do what we can to try to help them out as far as this rescue though. Because I can't imagine this dog is, after Chara passed away 14 years, that was very tough. And this, this dog, I was initially pessimistic about going after a rescue dog because I was like, we're going to get another dog. We're going to get a puppy, blah, blah, blah. I cannot tell you how wrong I was. This dog has captured my heart like nothing in my life. Amazing. Amazing. I don't know what I'd do without her. She's been that special in that short amount of time. It's only been a few months, but she is amazing. And all the dogs that have been rescued by this organization, just awesome. Great stuff. So we'll get into more of that on Monday, and we'll have the link and whatever anybody can donate would be much appreciated. When you see and hear the stories, it breaks your heart, but then it's uplifting at the end when you see what a great job that Lisa and Billy and her old partner have done with this organization. All right. Still waiting for Sean McAdam. I'm going to text him, Angel, just in case.
Sure.
Just in case, because you never know on a Friday, because Gabe Morency is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, and he's always on time. Where are you? Can link up anytime. Thanks. Now, he could be in the middle of, I don't know if he's at the airport or he's still, the winter meeting's still going on today. He could be chasing a story, but Sean's usually he's very punctual as well. So Sean McAdam from MassLive.com, but he's well known nationally as well. And we're going to discuss the Red Sox are getting Garrett Crochet for 4 big prospects. A person who knows Garrett Crochet told Sean McAdam in October that Crochet would be eager to sign an extension with the new team. Quote, Crochet, the person said, would enjoy the security and sense of belonging that a new long-term extension would bring. And if the Red Sox were smart, because his contract is up next year, is it next year or 20? Next year, get him signed now. I don't care if it's whatever it takes. This guy is a bona fide ace. He was on the worst team, arguably one of the worst teams in the history of baseball last year with the White Sox, and his numbers were phenomenal. This guy has it all. He throws 97 miles an hour. He's a lefty. He's got great stuff, 4 different pitches. He is going to be huge for the Red Sox in the American League East. Now I just need about 3 or 4 other good players, and or at least 3. And now we can get a team together that can compete, not just in the American League East, can compete for a title.
Right.
Another World Series. So
I thought it was interesting the other day where the Phillies are putting out, as they're wrapping up the winter meetings, they're talking about Alec Boehm obviously still on the trade block, and then Bryce Harper's contract. I'm like, okay, so what are you going to tell us that's anything freaking new? It was like nothing, just Bryce Harper's contract. I'm like, whoop-de-doo. So you guys write an article, waste everyone's time by just saying Bryce Harper's contract. It's the dumbest thing ever. The dumbest thing. Like if you're going to, it's different. If you're going to say you're going to restructure it so we can get this person, whatever case. All right, we know this. He's locked in for many years with the Phillies. Thank you, geniuses. We do appreciate it.
Well, they don't restructure a lot of contracts in Major League Baseball, not like they do in the NFL all the time. We can defer some money and all that stuff. So that's going to be interesting. What is dumber than that is Wander Franco. This is a guy that I thought was going to be an absolute stud. And when he played for the Tampa Bay Rays, it's certainly, but his head, he's got a 10-cent head. And the trial for Tampa Bay shortstop Wander Franco was due to stand trial on a charge of sexual abuse, sexual exploitation against a minor, human trafficking that could result in a sentence of up to 20 years, was postponed yesterday until June 2nd of next year after a judge in the Dominican ruled that key witnesses were not located in time to meet. Just got a text. What's this from?
No, that would be super interesting.
Yeah, Dominica ruled that key witnesses were not located in time to meet the originally scheduled December 12th date.
Oh, so you're going to get an additional 7 months to go find them?
Of the 36 witnesses, Angel, scheduled to testify, only 3 were present in the courtroom in Puerto Plata on Thursday. Dominican Judge Yacaira Alvarez postponed the hearing at the request of prosecutors. Franco's lawyers asked the court to reconsider the postponement, arguing Franco must report to spring training in mid-February. Franco's lawyer, Teodosio Jaquez, says, quote, there is no case against Wander for as many witnesses as they present. There is no case now. The judge replied that Franco is obligated to continue with the trial schedule and his conditional release from detainment. 23-year-old shortstop said that his career is not over yet and he wants justice to be done. And that, here we go, everything is in whose hands, Angel?
Biden's.
No. Close. Whose hands?
The Dominicans' hands? Oh, God's hands. Oh, boy.
Yes.
Gotta miss that one.
Come on. Everything's in God's hands. Well, apparently, Franco was a little upset when reporters asked him if his MLB career is over. He said, I did not had a career, he said, implying that he still has. This is not over. He was present in the courtroom to hear the news of the rescheduled trial, was placed on indefinite administrative leave from Major League Baseball on August 22nd of 2023 in the midst of his 3rd season. And he was added to MLB's restricted list in July of 2024. After prosecutors in the Dominican accused him of having a sexual relationship with a then 14-year-old girl. Unbelievable. But I find it fascinating that of the 36 witnesses scheduled to testify, only 3 were present in the courtroom in Puerto Plata on Thursday. Now, I don't know the legalities in this country, but if you are a witness, and I don't know if you're under subpoena or what, but I would think it would be hard to, dodge a courtroom situation like this. And 33 out of the 36 weren't there.
Yeah, that's good.
Where are they? They flee? I mean,
that's because they pull up to their house and they just put a picture of them. Do you know this man? I don't know him. Don't get me involved. I do not know him. I don't care for him. His Major League Baseball career sucks.
Unbelievable. All right, so we're waiting on Sean McAdam. Hopefully he will be able to join me. Let me see, what else does he have up there on his site?
First of all, listen, I know Lord knows, because of the stuff that's in the food nowadays, it's completely different than it was back then. It still doesn't change the age of the person. I don't care which way you look at it. You're just a dum-dum, period. Whether you're male, female, it doesn't matter. And you want to mess around with a friggin' minor. Like, what on God's green earth are you thinking? It's just sheer stupidity.
Yep. It's unacceptable. Absolutely. Angel, if you could refresh on my Twitter page while we hopefully wait for Sean. Ryan Clark went off on linebacker Devondre Campbell. In case you don't know, last night in that hard-hitting game, the 4-2 win by the LA Rams, meaning they had 4 field goals to the 49ers 2. They won 12-6. But in case you're just joining us, linebacker Devondre Campbell refused to play last night, wouldn't go in. Dre Greenlaw came back from injury. He had 8 tackles. He had worked his tail off to come back. And apparently, Mr. Campbell was upset that he wasn't playing enough anymore, lost his starting job. And rightly so, by the way, and then decided to quit on his team in the 3rd quarter and walked away. So here's we've had reaction all morning long. Here's Ryan Clark a little while ago on Get Up.
great as Fred Warner is, everyone in that locker room felt like Greg Greenlaw was actually the heartbeat of this defense. He's the heartbeat of this team. When you watch the beginning of that game, there was no player that popped more than number 57. So if you're Devondre Campbell, you have to be able to see that. Right, and you also miss the fact that if I'm Devondre Campbell, I'm not only playing to show that I can be a valuable part of the San Francisco 49ers, I'm playing so I can show to Mike Tannenbaum, who may be over in New York or who may be over in Miami, that I can be a valuable piece to their locker room. That it's not just about my former all-pro years and what I can do on the grass. It's about the leadership that I can provide in the locker room. It's about having some sort of football integrity, some sort of football character. And for people like us, Bart, right, the people that weren't entitled to anything, the people that were cut off of football teams, the people that nobody called on draft day, my big thing, right, my big thing to say freak you, or my big thing to say that I'm better or you not treating me the right way was to go out and ball, was to go out and say, now put the film on, look at 57, look at 59, and tell me who played better. And what he also has to remember, he has no deposits into the San Francisco 49ers emotional bank account. Dre Greenlaw has all of those deposits. If you remember when that man was running off the sideline and tore his Achilles, not only were the San Francisco 49ers dejected, the first thing number 15 of the Kansas City Chiefs said on the other side is Dre Greenlaw's down. That's the sort of man that you were replacing, and you did a good job. Now do the rest of your job, and when you're called upon again, stand up for your team.
Can I just say one more thing on this quickly, because I want to make sure I get you to the right place here. The circumstances are what the circumstances are. The circumstances also don't have to make a damn bit of difference. He was an NFL player on a roster who dressed for the game, and then when his team needed him, didn't go in. Does all the rest of it make any difference?
In my opinion, as a brotherhood, he should never play again.
Ever again?
Ever again? Why would you want him on your team?
So you go.
Wow.
Banned from the league. Hey, I'm surprised he's not cut already. I thought he'd be cut by the time we get off the air today. I don't know what's going on with Sean, but we'll see what happens because we have Gabe at the bottom of the hour. We might have to postpone Sean until Monday. But quickly, too, a couple regarding this situation, somebody who was really upset, George Kittle, sounded off after the game as well.
I don't like distractions on the sideline. I think that's ignorant, and I think it's just dumb. It's just stupid, and it's very immature. And I just don't. I don't see how that's a. I just don't see how you can do something like that to your team.
Here's Kyle Shanahan on what happened.
Happened with Devondre Campbell. He didn't play, and he went into the locker room at some point.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to play today.
Play today?
Yep.
The coaching staff?
He did when I asked him why he didn't want to go in. So.
During the game or before?
No, that was in the third quarter.
Has that ever happened to you where a player said they didn't want to play in a game?
No.
He got demoted for this game, right? I mean, he was not going to play.
No, he was gonna go in when Dre came out.
Were you released, Devondre Campbell?
I don't. We'll figure out something, but I don't know that right now.
Did he give you any reason why you didn't want to play today?
No.
Campbell, I mean, to hear a player say, I don't want to play today, does that create dissension, especially knowing that at this point in the season,
no, it's roses.
That this has started out to be, you kind of need as much camaraderie as possible to be successful. Does that create dissension amongst the team, or did it not really affect anyone? Did no one really notice?
People notice, but when someone says that you move on. You don't deal with that anymore.
Well, someone who didn't notice was Brock Purdy.
Did you know that Devondre said during the game he didn't want to play? Kyle told us that, and how disappointing is that? If you didn't know, or if you do know that happened?
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to focus on the offense and where we're at. I didn't know until after the game, to be honest, that Devondre, was not playing, and yeah, I don't really know what to say to that. So.
Again, 12-6 the final last night, and then Devondre Campbell's going to get cut today. I can't see how they keep him on that team. Quick break, Angel. Let's do a full break, and then when we come back, Gabe Morency, Sports Rage, going to join us for his sports picks, and always entertaining as well from Sports Grid, right here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Eye on Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Eye on Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Eye on Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
A lot of love today, Friday the 13th. Not a lot of love in San Francisco. They lose 4-2, field goal wise last night. Angel hated the game. I didn't mind it, though you fantasy people out there got pissed because that was not a good game for fantasy people, and you would have thought it might have been, weather conditions aside, because both teams had their season high in points the previous week. But that's the beauty, Angel, of the National Football League. You just don't know. You go from one of the lowest scoring games of the year in a 1 week period, and we could go as a high scoring game. Rick says Cooper Kupp got me nothing, zero, zilch, nothing,
Yep.
nothing. You got this.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I bet you a lot of fantasy people, because this is playoff week, right, Rick? This is like playoff. This is fantasy football playoff week.
Oh, yeah.
Fantasy football playoffs do not coincide with real playoffs when they start. It's all about the regular season. And then some leagues have a special playoff. When the playoffs start, they actually have another draft and do all the stuff. But yeah, so this week, next week, the next 3 weeks, I think, are big for fantasy football people in the postseason. All right. Thanks for following me on at PShep326 on Twitter, X, on Facebook, IONTB, CSN Florida, SR1029 The Game, Rumble, Kick, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube. Call or text 727-858-6650. Sean McAdam is always on time. He is not going to be with us today. Obviously, we'll try to get him on Monday at some point. And I'm hoping that he's breaking another story, because it's not like him not to pop on, or at least give me a text that he can't make it. So I get a feeling that he got hung up with something big must be going on in Dallas. Either that, or he's at the airport and couldn't get on his plane, or stuck in there. But I think where are they at? The Hyatt in Dallas, at a fancy hotel where the baseball winter meetings are going on. So something might be going on here. If anything does break, we'll get it to you right away. Gabe Morency is going to join us. Sports Rage coming up in just a second here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. What else is coming up today, Angel?
Coming up today will be Martinez coming here this morning, and then later on in the evening, you'll have the Drive with Q. That should be about 5 p.m. this evening. Jay should be joining me about 11 o'clock this morning on the show, as we'll get into all the latest and greatest news, some USF updates, and then potentially some news for next week, maybe, if things continue to go well. So I've been teasing for a little bit that what does smoke have to do with CSN? You might just about find out. So, and then
I saw that, you little teaser bug, you know. I also want to throw out a hello to, hopefully, a relationship we're going to start with Wing Shack. And I found out from my buddy, Art the Bills fan, who, those of you who know me from my former place of employment, he's one of our great listeners, great, huge Buffalo Bills fan and Syracuse fan from upstate New York, and a Sabres fan, but huge. And he does a lot of restaurants, inspections, and all that stuff before they open. And this new place in Fort Myers, Wing Shack, apparently very familiar to myself, the people that own the place. So, guys, I don't know your names yet, but I'm going to meet you. But they wanted to give me a shout out, so I shout out back to Wing Shack, and congratulations on your new business.
Nice.
All right, Sean just said he forgot. Okay, that's okay. Because joining us right now is the one and only Gabe Morency. You know him from Sports Grid and a whole bunch of other places. One of the best handicappers and entertainers, I might add, on the planet. Joining me this morning here on the Pete Sheppard Show once again from beautiful. You were in Vancouver. You're in BC today. Sometimes I know you go around. You travel around a lot, but you're in Vancouver right now, Gabe.
That's right, Pete.
The Bruins will be there to lose tomorrow night after their debacles of the last two nights to being outscored 12-2. I thought Sacco would turn it around, and now they're playing worse than they ever have. But your Canucks are playing very well on the whole.
The Canucks, not quite as good as last year, I don't think. I think they've lost a little bit of their edge that they had last year, but they're still an elite club. They got Thatcher Demko back, who's been out for nearly a year plus. He's had multiple injuries over the last couple of years. The Canucks have been a dominant road team. They haven't been a great home team so far this year. Coming off a big win last night against the Florida Panthers, though, always a big game when the Bruins and the Canucks play. Of course, there was the famous Stanley Cup Finals. There was a massive riot in Vancouver after the Bruins won the Cup years ago, and it almost feels like that was still yesterday. Still, I think for a lot of Canuck fans, so it's always a special day when the Bruins play the Canucks.
Well, they've been playing like shit. I mean, absolute dog crap. And I hate, Marchand comes out, he's like, yeah, our morning skates weren't good. Our practices haven't been crisp. I'm like, come on. I mean, losing is one thing. Humiliated again, like 2 games in a row like this to get outscored 13-2. Winnipeg beat them 8-1, and then to lose 5-1 last night to the Crack. I mean, just you probably know they only scored because Marchand had a penalty shot. Otherwise, they would have got shut out.
It's another betting angle too to keep your eye on, guys, for teams, not just the Bruins, but teams that play on the road in the Canadian West Coast swing. It catches up to them, and Seattle's part of it. When you play Vancouver, you're playing Seattle now in the back-to-back. Sometimes you get a day off. Boston are getting a day off, but we've seen it time and time again. You go to Winnipeg, you go to Calgary, you go to Edmonton, you go to Vancouver. It's not an easy grind. These cities are not right next to each other either, right? When you're playing in Washington or Philadelphia, et cetera, you're on the road, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, Montreal, whatever, all that East Coast stuff. It's, you know what I mean? It takes you 45 minutes on a plane to get from city to city. When you're playing in Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, suddenly you're doing these 2-3 hour flights, man, 2-hour flights in the middle of the night and stuff, and it catches up. I used to live right across the street from the hotel where teams that play against the Canucks would stay. And I used to see the teams roll in, man, at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning for games they'll be playing that night at times. So it's catching up to the Bruins right now. The Bruins are just the latest victim of this.
Was that the hotel? What's the hotel, if it's still there, with the roller coaster in it? Vancouver's such a beautiful city. I've never been there. Certainly on not a bucket list, but I need to get out there. I've been a lot of great places, Vancouver. But is that the hotel with used to have the roller coaster in it?
No, most of the players stay. There's a JW Marriott. There's a 4 or 5 star hotel right near the arena. There's a couple of them, but some of the teams will stay where there's a casino. So there's a casino / hotel, and it's good for the players, and they could basically almost stay indoors and walk through the casino and tunnels into the arena, or they'll stay at the Four Seasons, the old school type of classic place,
Absolutely. All right, let's get into an interesting game last night for the fantasy football players out there. They're all pissed off because the score was 4-2 in field goals. And then, Campbell wasn't that something? How about Campbell? I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to be a backup. That is just that's unbelievable to me. I was thinking what Davis did that in 2018 as well. What a crazy. I don't mind hard-hitting games like that, but did you find, I don't know what you played last night. I played the Rams +3, not for a lot, but just almost on a hunch, and they've had their number a little bit. But you would have thought from the week before, and this is why it's dangerous when you start playing trends. 2 weeks before, the Rams and 49ers both have season high in totals, and then a slugfest last night. I know the weather had a little bit to do with it, but did the score surprise you last night at how difficult it was, except for the punters, for both teams to make a first down?
Yes and no. Yes and no, in a sense. We see this. It's one of the biggest trends in football. Whenever a team scores 1,000,000 points and wins, it's a little bit different if they lose. Like the Bills have scored 30 or more points in like 7 straight games or something like that. So it's a little bit different for them. But or the Detroit Lions that put points up all the time. But a team like the Rams, you'll see it all the time. When a team hands 44 up or 50, inevitably the next game will always be a grind for them. So I'm not going to lie and say I can't be surprised there was no touchdown.
Yeah.
If I wasn't, I would have cashed the prop at 200 to 1. Right? I mean, it was as high as like 225, 250 to 1 last night, depending on your book, that there wouldn't be a touchdown scored. And I was on the Rams in the game, and I was feeling pretty good about it. I mean, I hit the Rams, and we went pretty big on it, but I ended up still losing somehow because I had so many props. And it was just one of those deals where every prop went under. Like the books just murdered it last night. I mean, they hit the same game. They win with the same game parlays to begin with all the time. But like the Kieran Williams, no touchdown. I mean, there was no touchdown in the game. Nakua stayed under his prop. Cooper
How
Kupp.
about Samuel's drop? How much did that cost you?
Well, that would have been a touchdown if he would have caught that. Right.
Oh,
So that would have like changed the dynamic of the game. But guys, if imagine this, Cooper Kupp didn't have a catch. Imagine if someone would have told you, the Rams don't score a touchdown, Cooper Kupp doesn't have a catch, and Matt Stafford completes 4 passes in the first half. You'd think the Rams were in a lot of trouble. And somehow they found a way to win. You got to give them credit. Last week against the Bills, they won with their offense. This week, they won with their defense. The only thing was, Pete, that was like a de facto playoff game last night.
Yes.
It really was. It was like an early playoff game last night, so I'm not fully surprised it didn't turn into a track meet. And quite frankly, too, one of the reasons why I was on the Rams, because the Niners are bad, right? People keep waiting for the switch to be flicked for the Niners. There's no switch this year, guys. It's the Super Bowl hangover. Like you said, you got players dropping passes, fighting with each other on the sidelines, leaving the game, not caring. The wheels have fallen off. They're just like everybody else. There's a saying in the NFL, Kyle Turley always used to tell me, he was on like that bad Saint team with Mike Ditka.
Oh, jeez.
And I asked him, I said, man, what's it like? You know what I mean? You're 1-0-12 and 1-13 and stuff. And he said, Gabe, there's a saying in the NFL in a locker room with players when you get to this time of the year. And he goes, it's for who and for what? and I'm telling you right now, the Niners are in there for who and for what. They're like, I'm not going in. I'm not getting hurt. You don't want me to play before? No, I'm not doing that. Like, now is when people just, quite frankly, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. You want to trade me, cut me, do what you're going to do because it's the end of the year and I don't care and I don't like you and I don't want to be here anymore. Like that's the type of attitude that people get at this time of the year in the NFL on some teams.
All right, let's get into it. I really wish the college football playoff, regardless if we could debate that forever, but I mean, I wish there wasn't a week. I feel like I wish it started this week. And I know Army-Navy's big. It was one of my favorite games of the year. So we'll start there. Usually, we've talked for many years. This always seems to be an underplay, but I don't know about this year, Gabe. What is it, 39.5? But I will tell you this: I'm all about Army in this one. I've already laid the 6.5. I hope I'm on the right side of this thing. I know it's obviously when these two teams play, when Air Force plays, whenever the military academies play, it's always extra special. But I just think Army is just way more talented than Navy this year, despite both coming in with combined 19 victories for the first time in a long, long time.
Yeah, I'm hard pressed to see, even though Navy's coming off a bye. And listen, Navy are a good team. Right? I mean, they lost 3 games, but they were rolling along until they played Notre Dame. They have stumbled down the stretch, and they're coming off a bye week here. But with that being stated, it's you don't want to get in front of this Army team. I mean, this Army team has shown the ability to beat military teams. They can beat non-military teams. They're just a different Army team, and quite frankly, one of the greatest Army teams of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to do something really special here if they're able to win this game, to win a Commander-in-Chief trophy as well. Finish the season with only 1 loss would be a hell of an accomplishment for them, for the Black Knights. So generally I don't want to lay points like this, but I think Army will be too much for them. But as far as the total, this is just one of those you don't mess with history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 10 straight unders in the series. There's been lower totals, obviously, at times than this one as well. But I think, this is fair enough. I don't think Navy are going to score much on Army. So I think, we're hoping for a 24-10 type of game. The only way it goes over is if it gets away from Navy and Army just score that much. But I don't think they will. I don't think they will. The clock is going to get eaten up here. So I don't mind the total here. At least it's a high enough number. I mean, hell, last year was 28. So
I know. I remember we've had discussions about this game for at least 10 years.
There's been 32s, 28s, 29s, whatever. So
we've seen plenty of 16-6s. I mean, plenty of that has happened.
They've tried to scare you off taking the under in the past. This year, they're a little bit worried because Army are actually really good offensively. But I'm not going to be deterred by this. I'll take Army in the under.
All right. I like it. Let's get to the NFL. And this is a great question I want to pose to you and how your analytics and pros and cons and trends and all that stuff. I really want to start with Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Here you have Russell Wilson, who's 6-0 lifetime against Philadelphia, with Denver and with Seattle. And then you have the Eagles, who haven't lost to Pittsburgh since 1968 at home. Does any of that stuff? Then, of course, you factor in what happened this week with Graham and the dissension that may be in the air. I personally think it's going to galvanize the Eagles this week, and they're going to find a way to win this game by a touchdown. But that aside, do you factor in stuff like this team hasn't won there since 1968, and Russell Wilson, on the other hand, is undefeated against the Eagles, whether it's with Seattle or Denver? Does any of that stuff come into play for you?
No. Not now, not at this time of the year. There's some trends, and I am a trend guy. I'm aware of most trends out there. I'm a trend guy to a certain extent, but there's different types of trends. Like I'm not, that's not substantial enough, right? The random, they haven't won here since they don't play there every year, etc. Yeah. Like a good example is, listen, Derek Carr last week. I like the Giants. Derek Carr is 1-15 against the spread on the road in his last 16 road games. See, that's more factual than trend-like, right? That's like, no, this is the last 17 games that he's played. Not like, wow, we're going back and random this and that. And also at this time of the year, too, I think, there's the injuries, the willpower, where the team is at right now. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson never loses to NFC teams until now, right? I mean, it suddenly has. So you don't want to fully hang your hat on that. To me, this game, I like the Steelers in this game. I wish Pickens would play, but I think the spread is a little high. Listen, people thought that Samuel last night was a hot prop because he complained about getting the ball.
Yeah.
That didn't work out for them. I think the difference in this game is the fact that the Eagles' passing attack isn't that good, right? It's okay at times, but overall has been a problem for them for real. And Saquon Barkley has carried this team. And I think that the Steelers can slow Saquon down and make Jalen Hurts actually beat him in the air. And if they can, I don't think they can do it by more than 6. We're getting 5 points in this game. I think this is a close game. I like the Steelers in this game, personally. I think the defense will be the difference for the Steelers. Listen, the Eagles' defense is good, too. And don't be surprised. Listen, the total's low in this. I'm almost like suckered into the over just because it's so low. But don't be surprised if this is a weird, lower scoring, ugly game as well, even though it's Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, that it's some weird score like 19-18 or something like that.
Now, how do you factor into prop bets for this one, considering what happened this week with Brandon Graham? And I believe every word he said, that there's dissension in the air between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and all that stuff. Now, I'm sure Mike Tomlin and company are aware of, you got to figure, Hurts are going to try to get him the ball early and often. I would think that. I'm sure Tomlin knows that. So maybe they do something different, and maybe other people are open for Jalen Hurts. But as far as like a prop bet goes, I'll bet you, how would you approach a prop bet with A.J. Brown this week? Would you say, okay, they're going to figure it out, and he's probably going to go off. They're going to do everything they can to make sure he gets, a couple of touchdowns and 100 yards if possible. Do you look at that stuff, what happened during the week inside the locker, what was said, and then...
No, I'm not. No, because like I said, Samuel's been unhappy too. How did that work out for them? And this isn't new. And also, AJ Brown's got to get open as well. So this isn't new. A.J. Brown hasn't been putting up numbers.
Yeah, but he was
for a
open
while.
last week, Gabe. He was open last week, and he clearly was. Hurts did not throw him the ball. There were at least 3 times that I can think of right off the top
But
of my head.
it doesn't mean he's going to catch a bunch of balls this week just because he complains about it. I mean, the Eagles have been bitching inside the room for years, right? And ever since they lost the Super Bowl, they haven't been the same. And it was always, well, it was this guy's fault. It was that guy's fault. It's this guy. They really just do have a lot of attitude and ego in that room, and nobody ever really takes responsibility. It's always sort of everybody else's fault a little bit. I think Brown's not the only one. Listen, I'm not in the room, so I'm not gonna speculate what their personal relationships are, but there's no secret to anybody that knows anything about the Philadelphia Eagles room that there's like 53 players and 53 limos after the game. And I think a lot of it, really, it's weird because Jalen Hurts was really, really respected and liked by his teammates in college, right? He was like the strongest guy on the team, and it was a rah-rah, and like they liked his work ethic and all that at Oklahoma after Alabama. But in the NFL, it's been different. There seems to be conflict with him and the other players on the offense. It just has been that way. They had chemistry problems last year. Kelsey couldn't save it, and I kind of figured now that Kelsey wasn't there, that it would get even worse. I think they mirrored it a little bit for a while, but, and you get Sirianni as well, right? And Sirianni, I don't think Sirianni has control of the room, really. And I'm not throwing Sirianni on the bus saying he's a bad coach, but Sirianni's got his own problems, just trying to call the plays and keep the team together, let alone the personal dynamic of the players. But I think personally, I just think players don't get along with Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's what I think on offense, what it comes down to.
All right, let's the biggest
and also
line.
Another thing too is
A.J.
Brown had to know when Barkley showed up, he wasn't going to get the ball as much. So earlier in the year, he wasn't crying about it. And as the year goes on, here you go. I mean, newsflash, wide receivers are divas.
No, there's no question about it. I'm just saying, I went back and watched some of that. There were like 3, maybe even 4 at the time, and he is wide open, and Jalen Hurts didn't even give him a look, didn't even give him a sniff, and it seemed personal, which is stupid. We try and win football games, but I don't think that'll be the case this weekend. The biggest line all year, right? Baltimore. Right now, I got it at minus 16.5 at the Giants. I have predicted that the Giants will not score in this game, or if they do, 3 point. So this to me says 30-3 all over it. I'll lay the 16.5. I don't give a shit. I'll lay it. I think the Giants are that bad. Tommy DeVito starting again. This team, the Giants cannot get out of their own way. I think Baltimore crushes them in this game, and I really don't think the Giants are going to score more than 3.
Well, we talked about Lamar's dominance. Lamar has been dominant against the NFC. I was on the Giants last week, plus the points against the Saints. I don't do it often. We ended up covering the number. I looked at the Giants a little bit this week, just sheerly out of the fact that I'm getting 16.5 points in an NFL game. Baltimore this isn't college football. You don't need style points, right? Yeah. They can win 10-9 and be happy about it. But I don't want to push my luck. I cashed a ticket with the Giants last week. It's a lot of points. I'm not in love with the Ravens here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did win 21-3 or something like that. I ended up covering the number. We're making a late push now in the Westgate Super Contest in Vegas. We were stumbling along pretty much at 500. We were 14-15-1. Then we were 25-24-1. Like we just couldn't really get on track. Now we're starting to bump it up a little bit. We're up to 40-29-2 now. So I don't know if we're out of real estate. I don't think we can win it all, but they pay the top 40. And, it'd be just nice to get on the leaderboard once again here and get some money back. So we started off with the Rams this week. We took the Steelers. We were getting 5.5 in that contest. I considered and I thought about the Giants, but I just thought it was a little bit too much and too risky. But I think there's a lot of live dogs this week. The Denver Broncos have been smoking hot. They've been a covering machine. I think this is actually a fade and buy against them. This is a de facto playoff game here. The Colts are going to fall short for the playoffs, but if they're going to do it, they need to catch Denver. And they're actually playing Denver. So this is their opportunity to step up and win a game and actually put pressure on the Broncos for that wild card spot. And I think they can. I think this is going to be a field goal, very close football game. I think they're more evenly matched than people realize. I mean, it's sort of like Carolina. Since Richardson's been benched, he has a new attitude, and the Colts are a little bit healthier right now. I think the Colts are a very live dog at 4. I think the Seahawks are a live dog Sunday night at +3 on their home field.
Yep.
And the Buffalo Bills getting 2.5 points, which has now come down to 1.5 in most spots, but we got it in at 2.5 here. The Bills should listen. I didn't think they were going to win both games against the Rams and the Lions. So it's a nice sort of. It's almost better off if you like the Bills this week that they actually did lose to the Rams last week, because the Bills are actually pissed off. Josh Allen, I got to do more even for us
more than
to
6
win.
touchdowns. How do you do more than that?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, you know what? You can always do more somehow. But I look for the Bills to bounce back this week, and I think that game does go over the number.
I do too. It is a high total, right? 54.5. That's one of the higher ones we've seen all year. Of course, last night's total was high as well. But I agree with you. Gabe, man, thanks so much for taking a few. Every game you picked, I picked before too as well. So we're on the same cycle. We're on the same page. My best bet of the week was Houston -3 against Miami, because I can't stand Mike McDaniel at all. And my underdog of the week, Seattle +2.5 against Green Bay. Very, very similar to what you're saying. But thank you so much. Always appreciate it. Don't beat up on my Bruins too bad tomorrow night. I can't stand it. It's just it's nauseating to watch your team get outscored 13-2 in 2 games. Awful. I know
you'll be all right.
All right, Gabe. We could catch you on Sports Grid. You got Terry Bowden on tonight? Is it your usual Friday night show?
Yeah, we'll be on at 10 o'clock Eastern tonight, breaking down all the weekend action and more.
Fantastic. Thanks, Gabe. I appreciate it.
Hey, good stuff, Pete. See you guys.
All right. See you soon. There he is, Gabe Morenzi from Sports Rage on Sports Grid here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Well, so Angel's coming up. I'm going to get out of here, Angel, to give you some time. I'm going to take Luna for a walk, and let's see. How should we end? Let's end with a sexy song here, Angel. You know, is heading into Martinez and Company. Now, if you don't know this song, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, one of the craziest videos ever. There's a hidden meaning here, Angel. It's all about war, stopping war, and some other stuff. So everybody, want to thank everybody. Sean McAdam texted me to apologize. He got caught up, and that's okay. So I'm relaxed. Everybody have a great and safe weekend. Keep it right here, right? I'm not going to end broadcast, Angel, right? I'm just going to X out. And
no, we're going to end it.
Oh, we're going to end it. Okay. So we'll end the broadcast, and then Angel will be on with Martinez and Company coming up next. Hang in there, Eagles fans. You're going to win by a touchdown. I disagree with Gabe. That's the only one I disagree with. I think the Eagles win by 7. You squeak out a win and a cover. 1968. 1968. All right, Angel, thanks for everything. I will be in touch. I'm Pete. I'll be back Monday at 7 a.m. to recap it all here on the Coastal Sports Network. See you, everybody. Bye.
When you want to go. But shoot in the right direction.